Po, siguro po we'll start at 9:05. Once makapasok na po yung mga resource persons natin from other divisions. As of the moment, inaantay pa po natin sila from Weather Division and Hydromet. And in the meantime, uh, kindly rename yourselves po dito sa mga participants natin sa Zoom para po
Your default
So mag-start na po tayo, no? I would like to request for everyone to please pause for a moment, find your peace as we prepare for the opening ceremony.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today in gratitude for this opportunity to gather together in this climate forum. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we learn and grow together. Help us to be open to new ideas and perspectives, to be kind and respectful towards one another, and to strive for excellence in all that we do. Give us the strength, focus, and determination to stay engaged and motivated throughout this forum. Bless us with the knowledge and skills we need to achieve our goals and to make a positive impact in our communities. We also pray that you bless our families and loved ones, and keep them safe and healthy while we are away. We pray all these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Recording in progress.
Piling ng mga ulam
And so magandang umaga po sa ating lahat and welcome to our 172nd Climate Forum. So ako po si Jeremiah Morales from the Climate Monitoring and Prediction section. So ang inyong pong host once again for this forum. Now to give us the welcome remarks and to formally open our program, let us all welcome Dr. Marcelino Q. Villafuerte II, the officer in charge of the Office of the Administrator and the Deputy Administrator for Research and Development.
Thank you very much, Jerem, and good morning, everyone. To all our Pag-asa colleagues, fellow public servants, and regular attendees to our climate forum. I think there are more than 90 of us attending today. Pleasant morning to everyone. It is my pleasure, on behalf of our Pag-asa administrator, to welcome you all to the 172nd Climate Forum. And today, there are a number of information that my colleagues will be providing to you. First, I think would be weather updates. Currently, we are monitoring a low pressure system outside of the Philippine area of responsibility. So I think it might be necessary for us to be aware that there's a low pressure system that is currently being monitored by Pag-asa, and my colleagues from the Weather Division will provide you some updates pertaining to that, whether would that be the first tropical cyclone for this year, and eventually it could be named Aghon if it further developed. And then of course, we experienced a number of afternoon thunderstorms and rain showers in the past few days. And definitely my colleagues from the Hydrometeorology Division will provide us some updates pertaining to the status of the dams being monitored by Pag-asa. Meron na kayang significant positive changes in the level of our dams being monitored. And hopefully we can have further information pertaining to that to be provided by our colleagues from the Hydrometeorology Division. And then there are still other items lined up. In particular, my colleagues from the Climatology and Agrometeorology Division will provide us information pertaining to the current status of our ENSO. So if you may recall, way back in the first week of this month, we issued the 11th ENSO advisory. And from that advisory, we were able to provide you information that the El Nino is weakening. And but at the same time, La Nina is possibly about 60% chance to develop. And yeah, my colleague will provide you some updates pertaining to that, whether yung chance ba na mag-occur yung La Nina has become higher or lower. So later, my colleague will provide you some updates pertaining to that. And then after that, forecast pertaining to because currently, as I mentioned earlier, some afternoon thunderstorms and rain showers are already being experienced. Perhaps we will also be providing you some updates whether the onset of rainy season ba ay nandyan na, so or it's coming in the next few months or few days or few weeks. And then further forecast pertaining to whether meron bang possible tayong ma-experience for the next few months, extending to about 6 months. So my colleagues from the Climate Monitoring and Prediction section will provide you those updates. So once again, I hope a better forum and discussion for today. Again, good morning, everyone. Thank you.
And so maraming salamat po, Doc Mar. So sinasabi nga po ni Doc Mar na marami po kaming updates para sa inyo for this morning. So tumutok lang po kayo and i-share itong forum sa mga kakilala nyo. And before po tayo mag-move pala sa ating presentations, so I would like to request for everyone na nandito po sa Zoom to open their cameras kahit saglit lang po, no? Para sa ating photo ops session. So meron po tayong 5 panels and magbibilang po ako from 1 to 3 and then mag-smile lang po tayo hanggang matapos yung 5 panels. Okay po? Ayan. So nag-open na po ng cameras. Okay, so start na po tayo. So starting sa first panel po, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so next po, 1, 2, 3, smile. Third panel, 1, 2, 3, smile. Fourth panel po, 1, 2, 3, smile. And then for our last panel, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so thank you very much po. So you can now turn off your cameras if masyadong hindi po kaya ng bandwidth, no? So, ayan. So before po pala tayo mag-proceed, i-welcome ko muna po yung mga participants natin, no, dito sa Zoom. So, as usual, yung atin pong participants from the central office and then mga PRSDs. And then meron din po tayo dito from the Philippine Air Force, the Department of Agriculture, PSP, present din po sila dito. Mga regional offices po ng Department of Agriculture, the DCIO, DILG, nandito rin po sila, from DOH. Yan, mga iba't ibang local government units present din po sila dito as well as yung mga DRRMO offices, nandito rin po sila, LUWA, MWSS, present po sila, NIA, nandito rin po, and Planters Products. Ayan. Makati office, nandito po sila, DA National Rice Program, and then, ayun. So okay po, so later na lang po siguro natin kung may mga magdagdag po pong participants. Okay, so to give us po the today's weather update, let us all welcome Ms. Loridine De La Cruz Galicia, weather specialist from the Weather Division.
Miss Rory, nakamute.
Ayan, sorry. Hello po. Is my screen already visible po?
Yes po, go ahead ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Magandang umaga po ulit sa lahat. Welcome po sa ating client forum, and I'm about to give you the latest on our weather at yung magiging weather scenario po natin in the next few days. So for today, easterlies pa rin o yung hangin na nanggagaling sa dagat Pasipiko ang nakakaapekto at prevailing po sa buong bansa. At magdudulot yan ng bahagyang ulap hanggang sa maulap na papawirin or generally fair weather in the morning until noontime, then late afternoon hanggang gabi, nariyan na po yung mga frequent occurrences of rain showers and isolated thunderstorms, mga pagkidlat, pagkulog na usually nararanasan po natin sa hapon at gabi, and usually po naglalast yung duration nito from 30 minutes up to 1 hour. So, expect natin sa mga susunod na araw, makakaranas yung malaking bahagi ng bansa ng mga isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon or evening. Then, I think I need to emphasize or reiterate, na mention na rin po ni Doc Mark kanina, na yung cloud cluster po outside the Philippine area of responsibility na minimonitor natin has developed into a low pressure area at 8 a.m. this morning. So according to our latest location, nakita po ito sa layong 1,255 kilometers east of southeastern Mindanao. So again, nasa labas pa po ito ng area of responsibility natin at LPA pa lamang po ito. So ngayon, with this given or with this development on the weather, i-discuss naman po natin magiging possible scenarios po niya in the next few days. So again, yung location niya outside PAR pa rin, and then it may enter the Philippine area of responsibility tonight or tomorrow morning. Then it may affect or pwede din siyang maglandfall sa area sa pagitan ng Bicol Region and Eastern Visayas by late Friday or sa weekend, Saturday, bilang isang LPA po siya. Yan po yung isang scenario. And then it may emerge over waters east of Luzon afterwards. So kapag nagkaroon na siya close encounter sa ating landmass, possible mag-emerge siya sa waters natin east of Luzon. And then it is also likely may possibility na ma-develop ito into tropical depression by then. So around Sunday po yan hanggang Monday. So hindi natin niro-rule out yung possibility na ma-develop po ito into a tropical depression after emerging in the waters east of Luzon. And then meron pa tayong alternate scenario. So second scenario po niya, kapag nag-weaken yung ridge dito po sa eastern part of the country, yung subtropical ridge natin, yung low pressure area may instant recurve. So mas magre-recurve pa siya over the Philippine Sea near the Bicol Region, Eastern Visayas, and pwede itong ma-develop into tropical depression by Friday or Saturday. So ibig sabihin po nito, likely na mas ma-develop siya into tropical depression kapag nag-stay siya offshore or sa coastal waters po natin. So again, ito po yung possible projection or pwedeng maging track po ng itong weather system na minomonitor natin in the next few days. So sa buwan po ng Mayo, usually yung mga weather systems natin, tropical cyclones, ito po yung track na kanina tinatahak. Either nag-landfall po siya, entering the eastern Visayas or the eastern portion of southern Luzon, and then diretso po dito sa landmass ng Luzon, eventually magla-recurve, or totally recurving lang ang kanyang scenario. Then nag-try din po kami na just in case, dito po yung possible na mas gumanda pa yung circulation nitong low pressure area, east of Visayas or east of Mindanao, based din po sa ating climatological history, usually po talaga ay nagkakaroon nito ng close encounter sa landmass natin, east of Visayas and east of southern Luzon before eventually recurving or totally nasa dagat na po siya. So at least meron po tayong idea ng pwede niya maging projection or track po nitong weather system. So for our summary, today until tomorrow, generally fair weather conditions pa rin will be experienced over the country with higher chances of thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon or evening. And then yung cloud cluster east of Mindanao outside PAR again has developed into LPA at 8 a.m. today, and it may enter the Philippine area of responsibility within today or tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow. Then by Friday, generally fair weather conditions to persist over most parts of the country with possibility of the usual isolated rain showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon or evening. In yung LPA, it may bring scattered rain showers and thunderstorms in eastern portion of the country, particularly po Bicol Region and Eastern Visayas. Then by Saturday to Sunday, yung trough nitong LPA or nitong weather system, kung LPA man siya o TD man siya by that time, it may develop into tropical depression. So it may bring scattered rains and thunderstorms over the eastern portion of southern Luzon and eastern Visayas, which may trigger flash floods and landslides. Kaya ating abiso po, mag-monitor po tayo sa magiging updates ng PAG-ASA regarding this weather system, especially by weekend dahil possible yung mga pag-ulan doon sa nabanggit nating lugar, and mag-monitor po tayo sa mga possible na weather advisories na ipapalabas ng PAG-ASA regarding the weather system, and especially tungkol sa magiging hazard nito sa mga pag-ulan at even hangin na pwedeng maranasan doon po sa mga nabanggit nating lugar. Then the rest of the country will continue experiencing isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. So yan lang po ang ating update sa weather natin. Maraming salamat po and welcome again sa ating climate forum.
Alright, so maraming salamat po, Ma'am Laurie, for giving us the weather updates. So patuloy lang po tayong mag-antabay dun sa mga updates ni Pag-asa tungkol po dito sa minomonitor nating low pressure area, no? So we would also like to welcome po pala yung mga participants or viewers natin sa ating Facebook Live. Live na live po tayo sa Facebook Live ng Pag-asa as well as sa YouTube po. I-send po siguro yung link dito sa group sa chat para po ma-share nyo yung ating forum sa inyong mga kasamahan, no? Okay, so to give us naman po yung status ng ating binabantayang dams at watersheds dito sa Pilipinas, let us all welcome Mr. Juan Elmer S. Caringal, Weather Facilities Specialist 2 of the Hydromet Division.
Yes, magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. Welcome po to Climate Forum po natin. Bali ito po yung status ng mga minomotor nating major dam dito po sa Luzon. Meron po tayong para po dun sa mga bago sa sa forum na to, meron po tayong 3 major river basin na meron po tayong mga nakapaloob na dams. Ito nga po yung Cagayan River Basin. Meron po tayo diyang Magat Dam and yung Agno River Basin. Meron po tayong 3 major dam dyan, yung pong Ambuklao, Binga, and San Roque. Then dito po sa Pampanga River Basin, nandiyan naman po yung Pantabangan and Angat Dam. Bali ito naman po yung update ng mga dams natin as of 8 a.m. Bali first yung Angat Dam, ang Angat Dam po is 180.07. Bumaba po siya ng 0.33 and mababa na po siya ng 31.93. Dun po sa normal high niyang 212. And yung kanya pong rule curve as of today is 184.41. So mababa na rin po siya ng 4.34 meters. Ipu Dam 99.64. May bahagya po siyang pagtaas na 0.03 meters or 0.3 or 3 centimeters. La Mesa 75.16. Assist po siya dun po sa level na yon. Ambuklao, Binga, San Roque, ito po yung binanggit ko kanina, nasa may Agno River Basin. Ito pong Ambuklao, Binga, nasa may bandang Benguet. Ang kanya pong present elevation, Ambuklao is 742.39. May bagya po siyang pagtaas na 0.55 meters. Actually, may mga nakaraang mga araw, meron po kaming na-observe na mga pag-ulan within the watershed po ng Ambuklao. Binga, 566.40, may bagya rin po siyang pagtaas na 0.16. So, medyo tumataas na rin po siya compare po dun sa mga nakaraang araw na level niya. While ito San Roque, ito po yung sa pinaka-downstream, Ambuklao, Binga, and San Roque, bali yung lumalabas na tubig sa Ambuklao papuntang Binga, then Binga papuntang San Roque. So ito po San Roque yung sumasalo ng mga tubig na lumalabas dito po sa Ambuklao, Binga, San Roque. Ang elevation po ng San Roque as of 6 a.m. today is 226.97. So may bagya po siyang pagtaas ng actually bumaba po siya ng 0.07 meters from 227.04. Mababa na rin po siya ng 53.03 meters dun po sa kanyang normal high na 280. Pantabangan Dam, 174.29 from 174.23 kahapon. So may bahagya po siyang pagtaas na 0.06 meters. So napapansin natin doon sa mga nakaraang araw, continuous po yung pagtaas niya although medyo maliliit lang po to. And Magat Dam, 177.65 from 177.21. So may bagya rin po siyang pagtaas na 0.44 meters. Kaliraya, 286.63. And ito naman po yung mga hydrograph ng mga dams natin. Ito pong Angat Dam, nakikita po natin. From December to as of now, medyo continuous pa rin po yung pagbaba niya. Medyo sumusubsub po sila kasi nga po wala po gaanong ulan na na-observe within the basin. So, San Roque Dam, ganun din po yung San Roque Dam, napapansin natin. Nung pumasok po yung year 2024, medyo mababa na po siya, nasa 260. While continuous pa rin po yung pagbaba niya, ito po, bali ang level niya ngayon is nasa 226. So medyo mababa rin siya, and asahan po natin na medyo, gaya nga kanina, medyo nabibiyayaan na ng konting pag-ulan. Ito pong river basin na to. Pantabangan Dam, ito rin po yung nasa may bandang Nueva Ecija. Ang kanya pong present elevation, nakikita rin po natin. December, bumagsak na rin po yung kanyang water level. Magat Dam, yung Magat Dam, bumababa na rin po siya. Although medyo tumaas po siya nung mga nakaraang buwan ng March, medyo tumataas siya. Medyo nag-shutdown po sila. Then next month, mga month of April, medyo may activities po sila, kaya po napansin natin, medyo bumaba rin po siya. While medyo tumataas po ulit siya kasi nga po medyo maraming pag-ulang tumama dun sa within the watershed ng Magat. Kasi nga po may nabalita pa tayong halos bumaha doon sa may bandang Isabela. Ito po kasing Magat Dam nasa may bandang Isabela. Kaya napansin natin dito po sa graph niya is medyo tumaas siya. While ito naman po yung assessment namin, from ngayong araw na to hanggang sa last of June 30. Bali po yung Angat Dam, ang kanya pong forecast basin rainfall is 270.3. Meron pong allocation ang Angat ng 58, 52 sa MWAS and 6 sa irrigation. Based on dun sa computation po namin, ang magiging projected level niya is 171.38 for the month of June. So 180.40 po siya ngayon. So by the month of last day of June is bababa po siya. So mababa na po siya. Bababa po siya ng 8.62 dun po sa normal high niya, sa minimum level niya na 180. Ito pong 180 to, hindi pa po ito yung low water level ng Angat. Ito po yung 180 operational level. So for the last month of June, mababa na po siya ng 8.62 dun po sa normal operational level na 180. Then San Roque Dam, ang kanya pong forecast basin rainfall is 243.40 and meron po siyang dam allocation na 10. So last day of June, ito po yung possible, ito yung projection namin. So magiging 233.24 siya, at least matataas po siya. May bagya po siyang pagtaas compare po dun sa present elevation niya ng 227.04 sa ngayon. So mataas din po siya dun sa low water level niyang 225 ng 8.24. Pantabangan Dam, 218.4. Meron po siyang allocation na 39.93 based on dun sa computation namin, dun sa assessment namin, is 178.11. Yung pong magiging elevation niya for the last day of June. So from 174.23 ngayon, may bagya po siyang pagtaas. So magiging 178.11. And ang kanya pong low water level is 177. So may bagya, mas mataas naman po siya ng 1.11. And Magat Dam, ito po yung nasa may bandang Isabela. Ang projection po namin is ang kanya pong forecast basin rainfall is 206.7. Ang allocation niya po is 134.74 cms. Ito po yung lumabas doon sa computation namin. 187.77. So may bagya rin pong pagtaas ng almost nasa mahigit pong 10 meters. 177.21. So by the last day of June, magiging 187.77 po siya. Ang low water level po ng Magat Dam is 160. So mataas po siya ng 27.77. So yun, actually yung pong Angat Dam by ang kanya pong present elevation 180.40. So maybe tomorrow baka po below or nasa normal line na po siya. normal minimum operational level na po siya ng 180. And yun lamang po, and maraming pong salamat.
And so maraming salamat po Sir Elmer for giving us the dam updates. So araw-araw po yan, no, yung updates na binibigay ng ating hydrologists para sa lagay ng ating dams and watersheds. So patuloy lang po kayong tumutok sa mga updates na yan. So if meron po kayong questions doon sa ating previous presenters as well as yung ngayon po, mamaya po sa open forum, sasagutin natin yan. Now to give us naman po yung review ng ating climate conditions noong nakaraang buwan until May 19, let us all welcome Ms. Remedios L. Shervo, Senior Weather Specialist ng Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section.
Good morning sa lahat. Welcome po sa ating 172nd Climate Forum. Share ko lang po yung screen ko. Okay na po yung aking screen.
Yes, ma'am, slideshow na lang.
Yan. Okay. This morning, I'm going to present to you the climate review for the period April 2024 to May 19, 2024. Yung content outline are in recent and I will discuss the recent ends condition, the weather systems that affected the country during the period, the climate assessment, the rainfall and temperature assessment, and last, the summary. ENSO is the interaction between the ocean and atmosphere in the tropical Pacific. Dito, meron tayong the ENSO indicators which nagre-represent sa ocean, yung ating ocean. Yung oceanic indicator, here's the graph, makikita natin yung monthly SSTA for April 22 to April 2024. Ito yung graph niya. Then, this SSTA ay dito sa Nino 3.4, dito sa Tropical Pacific. As of April 2024, makikita natin dito, more than 0.5 pa rin siya, mga 0.7. From April 2022, ito yung threshold from minus 0.5 to 0.5, ito yung threshold para sa neutral condition. Pag kasi merong unusual warming in the tropical Pacific, that's the time, ito yung nide-declare ng El Nino. Pag naman may unusual cooling, yun yung time na nagde-declare ng La Nina. Pero pag ang SSTA ay 0.5 nga to 0.5, yun yung neutral condition wherein walang El Nino or La Nina. And for the atmospheric indicator, we have the SOI. This SOI is a standardized anomaly of the mean sea level pressure difference between the Tahiti and Darwin. Kabaliktaran naman niya, pag mas mataas ang SOI, yun naman yung na minomonitor, yun naman yung time na may La Nina, at pag mas mababa naman siya sa minus 0.7, yun yung time na mag-El Nino. As of April 2024, ang reading natin dito ay nasa level pa ng neutral, minus 0.7. Yung details nga pa, yung mga graph pala na to, makikita natin dito sa website na nandito sa ilalim, yung mga information na nandito. Last May 6, 2024, Pag-asa issued the El Nino Advisory number 11 / La Nina watch. Nakapaloob po dito, El Nino in the tropical Pacific continues to weaken but impacts hotter and drier conditions continue. A transition from El Nino to ENSO neutral is likely during the April-May June to May June July MJJ's 2024 season. At La Nina may develop in June July August 2024 season with 60% chance. With this condition, Pag-asa ENSO alert warning system still remains at El Nino advisory and La Nina watch. Next slide is the narrative form. Yung binanggit kong ENSO advisory number, El Nino advisory number 11 at yung La Nina watch. Ito yung narrative form na ini-issue monthly. Dito sa first paragraph, yung overview kung ano yung dun sa nangyayari sa Tropical Pacific at tungkol sa ENSO. And then, kasunod niya yung assessment in April 2024. Dito, yung ina-assess ano ba yung rainfall assessment, yung tropical cyclone, yung mga mga impact na nangyari. And then sa bandang ibaba naman yung outlook for May 2024. Ano bang inaasahan natin? Ulan, temperatura, mainit ba? Magiging mainit ba yung ating panahon para sa buwan ng May? And then, ito naman yung simplified version. Meron tayong narrative form. Ito ginawa para mas madali nating maintindihan through graphical representation. Ito, mga rainfall maps, mas madali kasi siyang intindihin. Ito yung mga weather system, rainfall. Same lang din naman yung laman nung nasa kabila. At lahat yun available sa ating website. For the DOST Pag-asa ENSO Alert and Warning System, ito yung mga warning type natin. We have the watch, the alert, advisory, and final. Wherein, para sa watch, be aware and prepared. Pag ang condition are favorable with 55% chance of El Nino or La Nina development within the next 6 months, mag-i-issue ng press statement at monthly climate and assessment and outlook. Sa case natin, last March 23, 2023, El Nino Watch was issued. At nagkaroon naman ng La Nina Watch noong March 7, 2024. Kasi nga meron siyang 55% chance. And for the warning system na alert, magte-take early action na. Pag ang condition naman ay favorable na with 70% chance of El Nino La Nina development within the next 2 months. Nag-i-issue ng press statement, monthly climate assessment and outlook, or kung El Nino siya, dry spell and drought outlook. Assessment and outlook. ENSO alert issued noong May 2, 2023 para sa El Nino. Para naman sa advisory, pag ang El Nino ay La Nina na observe and expected to continue within the next 5 consecutive overlapping 3 months at ang probability niya ay 80% or more. Kakaroon ng press statement and press briefing, El Nino La Nina advisories, same with dry spell and drought assessment and outlook. Yun na yung time na nag-take action na tayo. Sa ngayon, from advisory number 1 hanggang 11 na inisyu nga ng July 4, May 6, 2024 na ongoing na siya. Yung issue number 1 ay July 4, 2023 and ongoing. And for the final advisory, pag ang El Nino or La Nina has ended, nagkakaroon din dito ng press statement and then nag-i-issue ng final advisory para naman sa El Nino, dry spell and drought assessment and outlook. For the climate assessment, ito yung mga weather systems na nakapekto sa ating bansa from April to May 19, 2024. Yun nga yung easterlies, kanina na nabanggit ni Ms. Lori, yung mga localized thunderstorm, yung mga nararanasan nating pag-ulan sa hapon, yung shear line at yung low pressure areas na sabi nga baka it's either may posibilidad na mabuo siyang tropical depression, sabi sa report kanina ni Ms. Lori. And then the rates of high pressure area, ito yung mga weather system na mainit na panahon yung mainit at magandang panahon yung ating nararanasan at yung intertropical convergence zone. These weather icons updated as of 21 November 2023 based on WMO Manual on Codes Volume 1. Wala tayong nabanggit na bagyo since 2024. Although may forecast tayo na 0 or 1, there is still as of this period, May 2024, not unless, kaya may question mark to, tingnan natin sa May 25 to 26 kung yung LPA ba ay magtutuloy-tuloy na mabuo. Pero sa ngayon, at this moment, wala. Kung sakaling nagkaroon tayo ng bagyo, ito yung mga names of tropical cyclone in the Philippines at ito naman auxiliary set of tropical cyclone names. Kung magkakaroon nga tayo, expect natin na yung ating unang tropical depression ay Ambo. Kung tropical depression nga siya. Then for the actual rainfall for April 2024, meron tayong normal rainfall ditong mapa. Etong nasa gitna ay actual rainfall at yung namang sa kabila ay percent normal. Actual over normal, actual rainfall over normal rainfall times 100%, yun yung computation para makompute yung percent of normal. Dito sa ating map, makita natin dito, for April, way below to below normal rainfall condition we experience throughout the country. Halos buong country way below to below normal, except for Bulacan and Sarangani, where near normal rainfall condition were observed. And for the rainfall per province, 58 provinces na na-experience ng way below normal, 24 yung below normal, 2 near normal, at wala tayong above normal rainfall na nangyari. Walang ulan na lumagpas sa 120% kung ikukumpara mo siya sa normal na mga ulan, pag-ulan. At kung yung binanggit ko kanina mga 58 provinces, kung gusto yung malaman, ano-ano ba yung mga provinces na to, ito po yung listing ng actual rainfall per province for April 2024. And for the actual rainfall for May 1 to 19, normal rainfall natin, sa normal na ulan natin, marami siyang mga pag-ulan. Pero yung na-observe niya, halos dito lang sa may parte ng Luzon, maraming ulan, tsaka dito sa Mindanao, sa Visayas, hindi halos. Kaya, yung ating ulan ng May 1 to 19 is still way below to below normal pa din na-experience sa buong country. Then, 76 provinces na-experience ng way below normal, waling below normal, wala tayong near normal at above normal rainfall. Lahat sila naka-experience ng mababang pag-ulan. Kung ito kasi yung observed, kung ikukumpara mo siya sa normal, ito yun. And for the actual rainfall per province, ito yung mga provinces na 70 plus, 76 kanina, na naka-experience ng way below normal. This way below normal is less than 40% ng ulan ang natanggap niya for the period May 1 to 19. For the dry condition and spell drought assessment, ito yung meteorological dry spell or drought condition. Purely, ang pinagbabasihan lamang dito ay rainfall, hindi kagaya ng ibang mga agricultural drought na meron pa siyang ibang component. Dito, para makapag-declare ng dry condition, dry spell, yung rainfall niya ay kailangang 2 consecutive months na below normal. Para ma-imagine yung lalo, ito yung mga rainfall per province na pinakita ko kanina. Kino-compile siya. Example dito is January 2023 to December 2023. Pag nakakita ka ng dalawang color na below normal, yun yung dry condition. Pag naman 3 consecutive months, kagaya nito, April, May, June, 3 consecutive months na below normal siya, kasi yung below normal yung yellow, or 40 to 80%, at way below normal naman, 2 consecutive months naman na way below normal, or 2 color na red, kagaya dito. This, as of December 23, end of 2023, mga dry spell na dito. And for drought, kailangan 5 consecutive months yung below normal. Hanap tayo ng 5 consecutive months dito. Medyo naputol siya. Pero way below normal rainfall consecutive siya for 3 months. Dito kunyari ito, kagaya nito, dito sa Ilocos Norte, di ba 4 na red siya? Counted na siya as drought as of end ng April 2023 at naging drought din siya noong May 2023. Para naman sa April 30 na drought assessment, as of April 2024, actual rain, ito yung mga area for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao na nagkaroon ng dry condition. Ito yung bilang niya. Sa total niya, 9 yung dry condition, 19 yung dry spell, at 46 provinces sa Pilipinas yung provinces ang naka-experience ng drought. Kita nyo sa color code natin, yung dark color na parang red maroon, yun yung drought areas, yung medyo orange, dry spell, at yung yellow naman, yun yung dry condition. Konti lang yung areas na not affected, dito lang sa parte ng Luzon. And for as of May 19, 2024 na actual rainfall, 3 provinces ang may dry condition, which is part ng Luzon na to, 17 ang dry spell, yung parang orange, at 61 provinces, halos ang dami sa buong Pilipinas. Kasi 84 provinces tayo, 61 out of 84 ang naka-experience ng drought. Pinakita ko lamang dito yung January 2024, Feb, March, April, hanggang present, yung mga dry condition natin. Ito yung kanyang tally for January to May na nakaranas ng dry condition. Ito yung mga provinces, dry condition, dry spell, at drought. For the significant impacts, dahil nga dito, from the Facebook of Department of Agriculture, DRRM Operations Center, ito yung mga percentage distribution per commodity ng corn, high-value crops, others at rice. Sa corn, 33.42, at ito naman yung area affected, with chance of recovery, without chance of recovery. Farmers and fisher folk affected, 175,063. Ito naman yung volume loss at ang value loss na 9.5 billion. For the rise and fall, damages and losses, makikita natin dito sa kanilang info na merong 59,729 hectares or 71.22% ang partially damaged. Para naman sa corn, 66,950 hectares ang area affected. Then, ito nga yung partially damaged at yung totally damaged. Another significant impact ay ang pagkakaroon ng ang pag-issue declared states of calamity due to drought. Kagaya dito sa San Carlos City, sa Butuan City, at pati na rin sa Cebu. Declared state of calamity due to El Nino. From Radyo Pilipinas, yung source natin, use abs-cbn.com at dito naman ay galing sa sunstar.com page ng Bacolod. For the temperature assessment of April 2024, nasa bandang kaliwa, ito yung naranasang minimum temperature, but this is the anomaly relative to 1991 to 2020. For April 2024, ito yung maximum temperature, at April 2024, yung mean temperature anomaly. Sa mean temperature natin, yung red color kasi, yun yung above average at saka way, pag mas darker, way above average. Ibig sabihin, 1 to 2 degrees centigrade yung naranasan nating anomaly or difference ng temperature niya, mas mataas yung temperature niya ng 1 to 2 degrees centigrade kung ikukumpara mo sa normal na naranasan niya. For May 1 to 19, 2024, ganun pa din po. Ito yung maximum, minimum, at mean. Almost maraming mga red color dyan. Mainit yung temperaturang naranasan halos sa buong bansa. And for the highest and lowest recorded temperature for the month, for April 2024, ito yung mga lugar na nakaranas ng pinakamataas na temperatura for April 2024. Kagaya dito, 40.3 sa PCA Tarlac, 40 sa ISU, at sa Metro Manila naman ay 38.8. Pinakababa namang naranasan ay 11.4 sa BSU, 14.5 sa Malaybalay, at sa Metro Manila ay 22.6. For May 1 to 20, 40.3 din sa TCA Tarlac noong May 6, 40 sa Muñoz Nueva Ecija, para sa Metro Manila ay 38.3, at sa BSU Trinidad ang lowest 13.4, and so on. Maraming istasyon ang nakasurpass sa kanyang extreme record kasi ito yung naging new record niya, ito yung mga stations. Ang Pag-asa po kasi ay maraming stations sa buong Pilipinas. Lahat sila ay nag-report or nag-observe ng ating mga temperature. Then, ito yung mga station na surpass kasi ito yung new record highest at kung ikukumpara mo naman sa historical extreme ng April. For 2024, ito yung highest temperature na naranasan during January to April 30, 2024 sa TCA Tarlac at saka sa ISU. Then, ang lowest naman ay sa BSU. For Metro Manila, 38.8. Ang historical record naman or for all stations monitored lahat ng months, nakapagtala ng 42.2 sa Tugigaraw noong for 22-22. For 22-19-12, pinakamalamig sa Baguio ng 6.3 degrees centigrade ng 180-1961. At ganon din sa Metro Manila. 4 na station naman ang nakahit ng record sa new record highest para sa May 2024. As of May, data po ito as of May 19, 2024, as of this period. Ang historical extreme niya nandito sa bandang kanan at for January to May 2024, ganun pa rin si PCA Tarlac ang pinakamataas. Ang lowest niya ay si BSU Trinidad. At for the historical record, yung tangina nga, ito yung all-time record. For the top highest computed heat index per station, yung info po na ito ay makikita sa ating website at info from IAS. Thank you po sa pag-provide ng data. Ito yung top high. Kinuha ko yung hanggang 45 degrees centigrade na highest index. Ang dami niya, 34 station. Para naman sa May, halos 28 station hanggang nakaranas ng 45 degrees centigrade na heat index. For the annual maximum temperature for April, ikinumpay lahat ng annual maximum at nakita nga dito from 1963, ang nakapag-record ng pinakamataas 41.9 at 1996 39.8. For the annual mean, yung average ng maximum at minimum. Ngayong 2024 ang naka-record ng pinakamataas na 34.6. Ang noong 1992 ay 33. Kinuha ko lang po yung top 10 highest na annual mean temperature. For the selected significant anomalies, ito po global. April 2024, yung global surface temperature ranked warmest since 1850 at makikita natin dito para sa Southeast Asia, naka-indicate din yung Philippines na nakaranas ng warm temperature in April. For the global temperature for April, sabi nga dito, April 2024 was the warmest April on record for the globe in NOAA's 175-year-old record. And for the summary, sa ngayon, ENSO alert system status natin, El Nino Advisory, number 11, La Nina Watch, noong April and May, parehong way below to below normal rainfall at ang ating mean surface temperature, parehong month din ay halos generally slightly above to way above average over most part of the country. Siguro po that's end my presentation at maraming salamat po. Yung labang po, back to you, Jerem. Salamat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Remy, for giving us the climate review. And to clarify lang po pala kanina, no, yung name nung LPA na binabantay natin na in case na mag-form into a tropical cyclone, ano po siya? Hindi na si...
Ay, hindi na ba si Ambo?
Hindi po, ma'am.
Sino na siya?
Ano na, Aghon. Aghon po yung...
Ay, pinalitan na pala, sorry.
For 2024, dito po sa set 4 na tayo titingin. So, Aghon. Okay po, so to give us naman yung pong subseasonal to seasonal forecast, let us all welcome Mr. Joey H. Figuracion, Weather Specialist 1 of Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section.
Hi, good morning po sa lahat ng ating mga participants, no, sa different agencies. So, everyone is space slide showing na. Okay. Wait. Okay, for my discussion, I will be discussing the subseasonal to seasonal climate forecast. So, it's a type of forecast. Pero kanina, kasi ang ginawang forecast is for parang short duration forecast. This one ay it's a climate forecast which lasts until about 2 weeks, no? But pwede pa siyang extend. Pero so far, sa capacity ng Pag-asa, hanggang 2 weeks lang muna. And so generally my discussion will discuss over this is the flow of my discussion. I will be giving you some background of the S2S forecasting. So brief lamang po para sa ating mga audience or ating participant na medyo bago pa lang sa ating sa ating forum. At may mga sources kasi ito ng predictability kasi mas mahaba ang ating timeline. So we should account that, and although it will just focus lang muna sa Madden-Julian Oscillation or MJO, and I'll be giving you the S2S forecast on the section 3 and the summary. So as a big background, itong S2S forecast po ay isa siyang type ng climate forecast tulad na bago po kanina, pero iba po yung atake nito, parang ina-average yung time. So like, kung gusto mo ng isang linggo na forecast, ina-average mo yung isang buong linggo. So, ganun po. At pwede siyang pentad or in 5 days, i-average mo yung 5 araw. Tapos, pwede siyang mag-last ng up to 2 months. Pero sa atin, dahil nga may gap kasi tayo na kanina nabanggit yung weather prediction na yung just couple of days, at meron tayong bibigay mamaya na bagong update for seasonal prediction which can last until 6 months. So, may gap kasi yan. So, that's why in-introduce natin itong S2S. So anong goal nito? To have additional information to improve our forecast skills and understanding high impact weather events. Sa Pilipinas, mas binibigyan natin ng emphasis yung high impact weather events ay yung heavy rainfall at tropical cyclone kasi yun yung nagbibigay talaga sa atin ng mga hazards. Now, may sources ng predictability ito kasi pero nabanggit ko kanina, mas mahaba kasi yung ating timeline na pina-forecast. So, meron tayong tinatawag na Madden-Julian oscillation. Ano yan? Mamaya i-discuss ko lang ng bagya. Meron din tayong tinatawag na ocean land ice surface condition, which isa dyan yung ENSO, which is mamaya i-discuss yan doon sa seasonal yan siya. May soil moisture, snow cover, and so on. Kung hindi na natin itatap yan, medyo broad na siya at medyo scientific and medyo technical. So, punta lang muna natin itong Madden-Julian oscillation. So, itong Madden-Julian oscillation ay isa siyang parang meron kang dalawang phase. Meron kang active phase, meron kang suppressed phase, no? So, kung nasa suppressed phase ka, parang nagkakaroon kasi, ito ay, kung may dipole ka, ibig sabihin nagkakaroon ng fluctuation, nagkakaroon ng distortion sa normal na nangyayari. So, that's why kino-consider siyang disturbance. So, unique siya sa equator, nagsisircle siya sa equator, at kasama tayo dyan sa naapektuhan tulad na nakikita nyo sa video. So, disturbance kaya kasi nagbabago yung condition natin. Maaaring pakuntiin yung ulan, kung nandun tayo sa phase na may mga clouds, at nandun tayo dito sa bandang ito na medyo suppressed o walang clouds. So, that's why nagbabago. Nagkakaroon ng fluctuation sa ulan, sa hangin, sa pressure, and sa cloud formation, and so on. So, isa ito sa nagbibigay na hindi na po forecast ng model, nagpapahirap sa model para i-forecast yung mangyayari sa mga susunod na araw. Kaya tinitingnan ito natin parati. Now, bakit siya importante? Tulad ng labang ito, dipole siya, dalawang niya. So bago man makarating sa atin itong mga cloudiness na ito, mayroon munang sinatawag natin suppress. So may pagkonti sa pag-suppress phase tayo, may pagkonti sa cloud formation. Now, kung nandun tayo sa phase naman na ito na may cloud, so maaaring sobra-sobra naman ang ulan, no? So, bago dumating, at after niya, mayroon tayong tinatawag na suppress phase. So, paggalaw lang nito ay pa-eastward po ang paggalaw niya. So, that's why it can suppress and enhance the rainfall patterns in our country. As well as, kung mayroon kasi tayong pagdami ng cloud formation, nagiging fuel siya sa TC formation, di ba? Kasi ang start kasi ng bagyo is parang nagiging cloud cluster muna siya. Tapos nagiging LPA. So, isa siya sa nagpa-fuel sa tropical cyclone formation dito sa ating bansa. That's why nagkakaroon ng fluctuation sa dami ng ating bagyo. Kung mayroon tayong MJO na dumadaan sa ating lugar o sa Pilipinas. Now, anong nangyayari ngayon kung pagdating sa MJO, anong nangyayari? So nakikita niyo dito sa screen, no? So ito ay mga data na pinagsama-sama dito sa itong parang square na may mga areas, no? 1, 2 at 8. So ito po ay isang index na ginagamit na pinagsama-sama na ang mga data. At ang sinasabi lamang nito na kung nasa labas yung signal nitong circle ay sinasabi na malakas o coherent yung signal ng MJO. Nagtutugma lahat ng mga data na nalulocate siya o nakikita siya kung saan. So ito naman, so sa left panel ninyo, nakikita niyo yung velocity potential anomalies. Sa taas naman ito, sa upper level ito, hindi ito sa surface. Kung nasa green tayo, kung may green ka, nakikita ng mga linya, ay ibig sabihin, favorable for precipitation kasi nagkakaroon ng maraming clouds. Sa brown naman, suppress yung condition, that's why less cloud formation ng ating mararanasan. So makikita nyo dyan, saan yung green ay nandun siya sa Indian Ocean. Nagkakaroon ngayon ng coherent signal ang MJO na sa Indian Ocean. So andito po siya ngayon. No? Makikita nyo dyan at magtutugma ito sa ating index, maging sa ating velocity potential anomalies na product. Now, anong magiging forecast niya in the coming 2 weeks? Sabi ng mga models, although ito ay dalawa lamang sa ating mga pinagbabasihan, ay nakikita nyo dito na nagtutugma yung kanilang forecast na galing dito, yung pula ay yan po yung week 1, week 2 yung blue. So mula dito sa Indian Ocean, so tutuloy-tuloy siya na gagalaw eastward papunta rito sa maritime continent, which is kasama po tayo dito yung mga nakakulay green ay yan po yung maritime continent. So ibig sabihin sa mga darating na sa darating na 2 linggo ay maaring makaapekto sa atin yung active phase ng MJO. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Na yung cloud formation in the coming 2 weeks ay maaring padamihin ng MJO. Now, sa ating seasonal forecast, so no, I mean the subseasonal to seasonal forecast. Base po ito sa tropical cyclone threat potential na magpo-focus kung magkakaroon ba ng bagyo sa mga susunod na linggo at rainfall exceedance probability forecast na magsasabi meron ba tayong inaasahang malalakas na ulan. So tingnan natin. So dito po nakikita ninyo meron tayong kulay yellow, may kulay orange. So ibig sabihin po niyan nasa may possibility pero nasa low to moderate yung ating likelihood na magkaroon ng bagyo sa susunod sa ngayong linggo, no? Week 1, May 22 until May 28 na forecast period. Sa week 2, May 29 to June 4, so nakikita dito na mababa ang chance sa very low yung likelihood na magkaroon ng bagyo. But ito yung nagtutugma naman ito sa pinakita kanina ng ating forecaster from the Weather Division, si Ms. Lori, na meron ngang nag-emerge dito na nakita na nag-emerge na LPA at yung forecast niyan ay maaaring pumasok sa ating area of responsibility pero yung likelihood niyan na maging bagyo sa ngayon ay up to moderate ang ating probability. Now, although nakapakita nito na kanina ni Ms. Lori, no? So sa June, sa susunod na buwan, meron tayong scenarios na but likely 50-50. Ano siya? Landfalling and recurving lamang, and non-landfalling. So, mag-recurve lang 1 and 2 at yung 3 and 4 maaaring mag-cross over land. Now, tingnan natin, punta naman tayo sa ulan, no? Kung anong sinasabi ng mga model pagdating sa gaano kalaki yung tsansa na ma-reach yung ganitong mga threshold. So, sa mga threshold po natin, maaaring maglagpas ng 25 mm. No, ito, maaaring lumagpas ng 25 mm. Anong probability? So, malaki ang tsansa na lumagpas ng 25 mm sa buong Mindanao, sa malaking bahagi ng Northern Luzon at sa Southern Luzon at sa Visayas. So, patches lang na medyo moderate but likely moderate to very high yung probability na mag-exceed ng 25 mm. Kung ang inyong lugar ay nasa prone areas na maaring yung depende kasi sa lugar yan kung 25 mm ay maaaring magpabaha na po yan sa mga low-lying areas. Now, maaaring lumagpas ng 50 mm ay malaki ang tsansa sa baking bahagi ng Western Mindanao. So dito sa may Lanao provinces, Maguindanao, Bukidnon, dito sa may Soc-Sargen area at maging dito sa may Zamboanga Peninsula. At maaari din dito sa may bahagi ng CAR, no? So mountainous region dito sa may Northern Luzon. Sa threshold naman na maaring lumagpas ng 100 mm, no? Wala tayong nakikitang malaki na probability for week 1. Now sa week 2, tingnan natin. Makikita nyo dito sa 25 mm ganun pa rin na mag-exceed na ganung threshold ay ganun pa rin nakikita natin, no? So malaking bahagi ng bansa ang mataas yung tsansa. So likely moderate to very high ang ating nakikita base sa model. Now sa 50 mm beyond of that threshold ay malaking probability sa Northern Luzon at sa mga mountainous areas dito sa may Mindanao area. So, but sa 100 mm beyond o maglumagpas ng 100 mm ay may moderate chance dito sa western side ng Northern Luzon at Central Luzon. So in summary, no, sa ating outlook ay unlikely on TC formation kung hindi natin i-roll out yan kasi nga nasa moderate tayo, maaaring 50-50 yan. But likely, but ang ano niya na umabot sa landmass ay low ang ating nakikita, no? Ang genesis niya sa landmass or yung TC formation na nasa sa kalupaan ay mababa. Maaring may 50-50 chance na dito nga sa bahagi or moderate chance dito sa offshore lamang po. Sa rainfall, so nakikita natin dito, base sa GFS ensemble, no? Yung makikita ninyo kanina ng mga pagtulan ay actually drier than usual yan sa western side ng Luzon. Pero makikita ninyo dito sa eastern side ng southern Luzon at maging sa Visayas o eastern Visayas. So wetter than usual. So mas marami kasi sa usual at maging doon sa southern Luzon. So magre-reflect dito yung epekto nitong na tinatawag na TCLB o yung babanggit na LPA kanina, no? So sa week 2, so may chance na above the wetter than usual itong bahagi ng Central Luzon at maging itong western side ng Southern Luzon. But the rest ay maaring nasa drier than usual po ang maranasang ulan. So itong mga produktong po ito ay available po sa aming website. Maaari nyo po itong balikan. At amin po itong ina-update actually 3 times a week. No, but kung may mga impending na-update po namin ito more frequently. Ito po yung link, no? Nandun sa Topicay Cycle tab, meron o sub-menu, nakikita niyo po dyan TC Threat Potential. Ito po yung link niyan. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, ina-update po ito. Or kung may significant change, ina-update po yan kung kailangan. At itong sa bahagi po ng rainfall, doon po sa climate tab, andun po yung din. So sub-seasonal forecast. So yan po ang ating update for S2S. Kung may katulungan po, maaari nyo po mamayang i-raise sa ating open forum. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga.
Okay, so thank you very much po Sir Joey for giving us the sub-seasonal to seasonal forecast. So ang next update po nito, nabanggit ni Sir Joey nung ay this Friday, posted po yan sa ating website. So magandang updated po tayo dito sa S2S forecast na inilalabas po ng CLIMPS. Especially meron po tayong binabantayang sama ng panahon. So gawin po nating practice yung pag-monitor ng updates sa Pag-asa araw-araw. So nasa kalahatian po tayo ng ating program. So magkakaroon po tayo ng short health break. So after 10 minutes, mag-resume po tayo ng ating program with our one remaining presentation, which is yung climate outlook po. So wag muna po kayong aalis kasi next na po yung ating climate outlook. Ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga bansang madalas tamaan ng mga bagyo at iba't ibang natural hazards. Dahil dito, kinakailangan na mas mapaiting pa natin ang ating kapasidad upang tayo ay maging resilient sa mga epektong dulot nito. Ang Pag-asa video na ito ay tutulungan tayong maintindihan ang kahulugan, katangian at iba't ibang epekto ng El Niño Southern Oscillation o ENSO. Ang El Niño Southern Oscillation o ENSO ay isang natural climate pattern na nangyayari tuwing nag-i-interact ang ating atmosphere at karagatan, partikular sa gitna at silanging bahagi ng Dagat Pasipiko o Pacific Ocean. Isang halimbawa ng interaksyon nito ay ang malawakang pag-init at paglamig ng temperatura ng ibabaw ng Tropical Pacific. Ang pagbabago ng temperatura sa Niño 3.4 region ay ang nagsisilbing gabay ng ating mga pag-asa climatologists upang ma-determine kung may paparating na El Nino o La Nina events. Nagagawa nila ito sa pagsukat ng sea surface temperature o SST sa Nino 3.4 region ng Central at Eastern Equatorial Pacific. Ang El Nino at La Nina ay parehong parte ng yugto ng El Nino Southern Oscillation o ENSO. Ang El Nino ay ang warm phase ng ENSO at kadalasang tumatagal ng 8 hanggang 12 buwan. Ang isang El Nino event ay karaniwang nangyayari kada 2 hanggang 7 taon. Samantala, ang malalakas na El Nino ay kadalasang nangyayari kada 10 hanggang 15 taon. Ano-ano ang mga senyales na may paparating na isang El Nino event? Una, mainit na temperatura ng karagatan. Pangalawa, mahinang hangin galing silangan. At pangatlo, kakaunting ulap na nagdudulot ng kakaunting mga pagulan. Ilan sa mga epekto ng El Nino ay ang mga sumusunod. Pagkaantala ng panahon ng tag-ulan, mas mahabang panahon ng tagtuyot, mas mababang dami ng ulan kaysa normal, at mas kakaunting bilang ng mga bagyo na pumapasok sa loob ng Philippine Area of Responsibility o PAR. Ngunit, kapag may pumasok o nabuong bagyo sa loob ng PAR, ay pwede nitong ma-enhance ang southwest monsoon o hanging habagat na maaaring magdulot ng mga pag-ulan, lalong-lalo na sa western sections ng bansa. Ang La Nina naman ay ang cold phase ng ENSO at kadalasang tumatagal ng 1 hanggang 3 taon. Ang isang La Nina event ay karaniwang nangyayari kada 3 hanggang 4 na taon. Nangyayari ito kapag ang mean sea surface temperature sa Nino 3.4 region ay mas mababa ng 0.5 degrees Celsius o higit pa kaysa normal. Ano-ano ang mga senyales na may paparating na La Nina event? Una, malamig na temperatura ng karagatan kaysa normal. Pangalawa, malakas na hangin galing silangan. At pangatlo, maraming ulap na nagdudulot ng madalas na pag-ulan. Narito naman ang ilan sa mga epekto ng La Nina. Mas mahabang panahon ng tag-ulan, kaakibat yan ng mas maraming dami ng ulan. Mas maraming bilang ng mga bagyo na pumapasok sa loob ng Philippine Area of Responsibility at mas malamig na panahon tuwing amihan season. Ang ENSO Alert and Warning System ng DOST Pag-asa ang siyang nagbibigay babala sa ating mga kababayan kung posible ba ang isang El Nino o La Nina event. Ito rin ang siyang nagsisilbing instrumento na naglalayong magbigay gabay para sa gagawing paghahanda ng ating pamahalaan, local government units at mga climate-sensitive sectors tulad ng sa agrikultura para sa epektong dulot nito. Nahahati sa 4 na level ang ENSO Alert and Warning System na ini-issue ng Pag-asa tuwing may El Nino o La Nina. Iyon ay ang Watch, Alert, Advisory at Final Advisory. Ang El Nino o La Nina Watch ay ini-issue kapag ang oceanic at atmospheric indicators ng Central at Eastern Equatorial Pacific ay nasa favorable conditions at ang tsansa o probability na may mabuo o ma-develop na isang El Nino o La Nina event ay umabot na ng 55% o higit pa sa susunod na 6 na buwan. Itinataas naman sa alert level ang warning na ini-issue kapag ang Oceanic Nino Index o yung tinatawag na ONI na katumbas ng positive 0.5 degrees Celsius o higit pa o negative 0.5 degrees Celsius o mas mababa pa ay inaasahan sa susunod na 2 hanggang 3 buwan at may 70% probability o tsansa na ito ay ma-develop. Ang pinakamataas na level naman ng warning ay ang advisory na kung saan ang isang El Nino o La Nina event ay kasalukuyang nangyayari na at inaasahan na magpapatuloy pa sa mga susunod na buwan. Ibinibigay naman ang final advisory kapag tapos na ang El Nino o La Nina event o kapag ang Central and Eastern Equatorial Pacific ay nasa neutral condition na. Ang ENSO Alert and Warning System ng Pag-asa ay maaaring ihalintulad sa isang runner na naghahanda sa pagtakbo. Kapag nagsimula na ang monitoring and assessment ng Pag-asa para sa isang El Niño o La Niña event, naglalabas ito ng mga sumusunod: Monthly Climate Assessment and Outlook o MCOW at Press Statement para sa kategoryang Watch. May kasamang Drought and Dry Spell Assessment naman kapag Alert, at El Niño Advisories naman para sa kategoryang Advisories. Kapag naman natapos na ang El Niño o La Niña, ay nag-i-issue ang Pag-asa ng tinatawag na Final Advisory. Ano-ano nga ba ang dapat gawin kapag nagsimula ng mag-issue ang ahensya ng mga alerts and advisories? Una, ugaliing manood ng mga buwanang forum na isinasagawa ng ahensya para magbigay updates sa magiging lagay ng ating klima sa mga susunod na buwan. Pangalawa, makinig sa mga payo ng lokal na pamahalaan sa kung anong mga hakbang ang kanilang gagawin base sa abiso ng Pag-asa. At pangatlo, mag-imbak at magtipid ng tubig kapag may El Niño. Ang init na nararamdaman ng katawan ng tao o yung tinatawag na apparent temperature ay hindi akmang nasusukat gamit lamang ang temperatura ng hangin o air temperature. Ito ay mas tamang na itataya kung isasama ang datos ng alinsangan o relative humidity. Ang impormasyon na ito ay tinatawag na heat index at ito ay matutukoy gamit ang heat index chart. Nahahati sa 4 na classification ang heat index base sa epekto nito sa ating katawan. Una, kapag umabot ng 27 degrees Celsius hanggang 32 degrees Celsius ang naitalang heat index, katumbas ito ng warning na caution. Posible ang fatigue o pagkaramdam ng pagod kapag matagal ang exposure. Maaari itong magdulot ng heat cramps kapag mas matagal ang exposure sa level na ito. Kapag umabot naman ng 33 degrees Celsius hanggang 41 degrees Celsius ang naitalang heat index, katumbas nito ang warning na extreme caution. Maaari itong magdulot ng heat cramps o heat exhaustion at ang matagal na exposure ay maaaring mauwi sa heat stroke. Kapag umabot na sa 42 degrees Celsius hanggang 51 degrees Celsius ang naitalang heat index, katumbas nito ang warning na danger. Mauuwi sa heat cramps at heat exhaustion ang maaaring maranasan ng isang tao na matagal ang exposure. Ang mas matagal na exposure ay maaaring mauwi sa heat stroke. Ang 52 degrees Celsius o higit pa na heat index ay katumbas ng extreme danger na warning. Ang tao na babad sa ganitong exposure ay paniguradong makakaranas ng heat stroke. Araw-araw na naglalabas ng monitoring and forecast information ang DOST Pag-asa tungkol sa heat index. Tumutok lamang sa Facebook page ng ahensya o sa page ng Impact Assessment and Application section ng Climatology and Agrometeorology Division para malaman ang latest updates tungkol sa heat index. Maaari ding ma-access ang impormasyon na ito sa official website ng ahensya. Narito ang ilan sa mga tips upang makaiwas sa mga heat-related illnesses kapag mainit ang panahon. Una, iwasan muna ang paglabas kung hindi naman kinakailangan. Pangalawa, magdala ng payong o anumang panangga sa init at magsuot ng komportableng damit. Pangatlo, iwasan muna ang pag-inom ng kape o mainit na tsaa at dalasan ang pag-inom ng tubig upang hindi ma-dehydrate. Okay, so hello po. Good morning po once again. Check ko lang po, nandito na po ba yung mga participants natin? So thumbs up naman po if nandito na po kayo ulit sa ating Zoom meeting room. Ayan, so thumbs up po, thumbs up. Okay, so thank you very much po. And if you have any questions po, feel free to send them here dito po sa ating Zoom chat box, and then mamaya po sa open forum, sasagutin po natin yan. Okay po, so to give us the climate outlook for the next 6 months, let us all welcome Ms. Lucy G. Abastillas, the Senior Weather Specialist of the Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section.
Okay, good morning po sa ating lahat. Hope everyone nakapag-relax konti kasi medyo na-overload tayo sa mga previous presentation siguro, lalo-lalo yung mga bago. So, bear with me kasi medyo mahaba-haba din yung ating last na presentation. So, okay. Allow me to share my screen first. Kita na?
Yes, ma'am, kita na po.
Okay, so good morning once again. I will be presenting the climate outlook for the next 6 months that covers the period from June to November. And so this will cover the ENSO update, but ano ba yung latest sa ngayon sa ating ENSO, and then the climate outlook that includes a rainfall temperature up to the number of tropical cyclones and the summary. So this kanina pinakita natin yung previous na condition ng ating tropical Pacific, which doon natin monitor yung ating ENSO. So these are the two major indicators which shows na for the past 12 weeks, yung ating sea surface temperature anomaly dito sa tropical Pacific ay nakikita na natin na nag-weekend since February hanggang May 15 ito, ay nakikita din natin na meron ng intrusion or meron na tayo nakikitang kulay blue. Ibig sabihin, the cooling in the tropical Pacific, Central and Eastern Equatorial Pacific ay nagkakaroon na siya ng, meron na siyang na-observe na cooling doon sa, lalong-lalo na dito sa Eastern and the Central Eastern Equatorial Pacific. Or during the past 12 weeks, na-establish na yung cooler than normal na sea surface temperatures dito sa Pacific. And ang reaction naman ng ating atmosphere, yung ating atmospheric indicator, also shows that for the past 4 weeks na yung ating suppression, tulad ng sinabi kanila ni Sir Joey, pag positive yung ating outgoing long wave radiation, nagkakaroon tayo ng suppression, walang cloud formation. Kaya dito malapit sa Pilipinas, meron tayong below and way below normal rainfall pa rin dun sa pinakita natin. Since dito nakikita natin na meron pa rin, wala pa rin masyadong cloud formation, although may mga weather systems na nagpapaulan, pero hindi pa siya ganun kadami. And also dito sa malapit dito sa Western Pacific, nandoon lang yung mga enhanced na convection. Dito din sa Central and sa Tropical Pacific, wala din masyadong convection. So ito yung pangyayari ng the past the update as of May 20. And ang latest natin na sea surface temperature anomaly sa doon sa ating 4 na Nino regions na binabantayan, particularly dito sa Nino 3.4. Pero dito sa Nino 1+2 dito sa Eastern Pacific as well as the Nino 3, ang ating sea surface temperature anomaly sa ngayon, nakikita natin doon, naging negative na siya, which dito sa pinaka-eastern is nasa negative 1.1. At ang ating Nino 4 dito sa western malapit is 0.7. Ito na lang yung Nino region na nagpapakita na nasa threshold pa rin siya ng El Niño, which is 0.5 and above yung sea surface temperature anomaly. Pero dito sa 3.4, dito tayo kumukuha ng ating index sa ating ENSO. So sa ngayon, nasa 0.2, during the past 3 weeks, nasa 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2. So nasa threshold din siya ng ENSO neutral. And ito naman yung evolution ng past 4 weeks, dito nakikita din natin na halos nakakaroon na siya ng negative, which means nagko-cool na yung ating tropical Pacific hanggang May 15. At yung ating subsurface naman doon from the surface down to 300-meter depth, nakikita din natin na nagkaroon na siya nag-start na siya ng cooling. Ito kasi El Nino time pa ito. Starting February, nagkaroon na siya ng cooling papunta dun sa surface. Kaya nagkaroon na din ng paghihina yung ating surface temperature anomaly. And the past couple of weeks, nandito na siya sa surface from the 130 to 90 degrees west. Nandoon na siya ng cooling. Kaya sa ngayon talagang halos patapos na or nag-decay na yung ating sea surface temperature anomaly. And based doon sa mga ating forecast, ating observe, ito yung ating mga probabilistic forecast based sa mga model at sa expert judgment ng ating mga climate scientists sa NOAA or the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration as well as the IRI ng mga scientists, which shows na ang transition ng ating ENSO neutral is anticipated by April to June 2024 season, and then already has an increasing odds. Itong kulay blue na bar represents La Nina, ang kulay gray represents ENSO neutral, ang kulay red represents El Nino. So makikita natin na yung probability for El Nino has almost gone. 20% na lang siya almost ng April, May, June season at halos wala na siya pagdating ng May, June, July ng DJF. Pero there is an increasing odds for La Nina from June, July, August, increasing July, August, September hanggang December, January, February. So about 69% chance by July, August, September. And then it becomes the most probable category for starting August to October until December, January, February. In terms naman sa strength, kung gaano ba strong yung ating La Nina na inaasahan sa susunod na mga season. So ito based dito sa forecast natin din mga models at saka yung sa ating assessment ng ating mga scientists as of May 10 na nakikita natin na yung ating La Nina ENSO neutral is expected pala in April, May, June hanggang May, June, July. Then transition to a weak La Nina during the July, August, September hanggang August, September, October, which is about 69 to 77% chance. And then a weak to moderate La Nina likely from September, October, November hanggang December, January, February 2025 season. So we are expecting sa ngayon na kung magkaroon din man tayo ng La Nina, it either becomes weak or weak to moderate. And what adds to our confidence ng our model guidance for favoring La Nina for the next seasons is that La Nina generally tends to follow strong El Nino events, which also provides this added confidence in the forecast. At ito naman yung forecast natin kung until when. These are the sea surface temperature anomaly for the different leading models na minomonitor natin or tinitingnan natin. So first is from IRI model predictions from May 2024, which also shows na yung mga the dynamical and the statistical models agrees, although malaki yung spread, it agrees na talagang from April, May, June hanggang next year, first quarter of next year, na halos pababa lahat ang ating forecast ng mga models natin, which is 0.5 degrees and below. Ibig sabihin yan, threshold yan for a La Nina. So the majority of the models indicate a transition to ENSO neutral during the May, June, July season. And then after a brief period of ENSO neutral conditions, most models indicate a transition na to La Nina around July to September. But itong ibang model, ang ating statistical average ng mga models natin is more conservative compared doon sa dynamical as well as sa consolidated na model natin. And anyway, pag ganitong tinatawag nating spring predictability barrier, which is March, April, May, talaga mas higher yung ating skill ng model natin sa pagdating, yung dynamical models natin. Mas mataas yung skill. At ito naman sa ECMWF na model also from May 1, also although the spread din is mas malaki, pero halos naman most models agree for the cooling in the sea surface temperature anomaly starting June hanggang November, as well as the another model of the CFS forecast, which also shows that indicates any transition to NC neutral in May, followed by a transition around July to September season, and continuing until the December, January, February season. So with that condition ng ating SST as well as atmospheric condition, yung ating ENSO alert and warning system, still nasa El Nino advisory pa rin tayo. Ang last natin na inisyo nga is the number 11. And then still because the criteria is not yet patataas dun sa tinatawag nating threshold ng 70%, still nasa La Nina watch pa rin tayo. And the El Nino and the Tropical Pacific is already in the decaying stage, but impacts continue. Then transition from El Nino to ENSO neutral is imminent in the coming month. So in June 2024, and the probability of La Nina, which is only 69% chance in July, August, September, or just 2024 season. So itong weather systems na makaka-apekto sa atin from June to November. So this covers pala dalawang transition period kasi papunta tayo sa hangin sa monsoon habagat season. And then it also covers the transition towards the northeast monsoon. So sa ngayon, yung prevailing natin since transition period pa rin is the easterlies, yung mga localized thunderstorms, then yung ridge of high pressure area, the frontal system, yung shear line, and then intertropical convergence. Ito naman, nag-oscillate siya papunta dapat sa north, but because of the influence din siguro ng ating ENSO, parang nakaano lang siya, nasa doon pa rin siya sa south of the country. And then the low pressure area, tropical cyclones still, and asahan natin ito hanggang sa katapusan ng taon. And then yung transition ng ating sa ngayon towards the southwest monsoon or habagat is maybe itong June na to, nasa transition period tayo, and then maybe magkakaroon tayo ng onset ng ating rainy season by June. And then northeast monsoon naman by November, magta-transition naman towards the northeast monsoon comes October papuntang November this year. So ito yung pwede maka-apekto sa atin ng mga weather systems this period. Okay. So now let us have the rainfall outlook for the next 6 months. So still, ang ating mapa, makikita natin na may 4 na kulay, pula, green, pula, yellow, green, and tsaka blue. So ibig sabihin lang yan from ang pula, mas malaki yung kawalan niya sa ulan, that is less than 40% lang ng ating ulan ang pwedeng matanggap sa isang lugar. Pag below normal, 41 to 80% lang of the normal rainfall. And then pag green, near normal, 81 to 120%. Pag greater than 120%, that's above normal. So let's take a look at our forecast for the month of June. So dito makikita na natin yung normal rainfall for the month of June. Nag-shift na yung ating rainfall na maximum is towards dito na sa western sections of the country. Mas marami na siya, ibig sabihin darker na siya. Dito na siya sa lalo na sa Western Luzon, Western Visayas area, and Western Mindanao, including Western Mindanao. And this is our forecast. So dito makikita natin in Luzon that mayroon mas kakonti yung ating ulan compared to sa normal. So the forecast in percent of normal for Western Luzon area is below normal, but the rest of the country is near normal. And we have 68 provinces near normal, 16 ang below normal. But in terms of probability, yung certain ba tayo or uncertain tayo dun sa forecast, this also shows that the Western Luzon area has a higher probability for below normal, but the rest of the country is mixed siya for near to above normal rainfall. So ito yung ating mas added to our confidence na we are still expecting below normal rainfall for the months of June dito sa western section of Luzon. And for July, still, ito yung ulan natin na normal, na marami sa western sections. And this is our forecast for July. It also shows na mas kokonti yung ulan natin na forecast against dun sa normal. So in terms of percent of normal, most parts of Luzon as well as the Visayas, some parts of Visayas are expected to have below 2 and some patches of below normal rainfall, and except for the areas in Eastern Luzon, some parts of Visayas, and most parts of Mindanao are likely to have a near normal rainfall. May patches na tayo na dito sa Mindanao ng above normal. But in terms of probability, napakataas ng probability natin for July for a below normal rainfall. Almost 55 to 75, more than 75% ang probability for Luzon and Visayas ng below normal rainfall ang expect natin in terms of probability. But in other areas in Mindanao, and other areas naman, we are expecting above normal rainfall, lalong-lalo na dito sa Mindanao and some parts of Visayas. And for August, still marami tayong ulan, habagat season, peak ng ating habagat dito sa western section. And this is our forecast. So ito yung ating in percent of normal, almost na near normal the whole country. Only patches of below normal in western, in Dagupan, Pangasinan area. And in terms of probability, still there is a higher probability, but it's only about 40 to 45% below normal dito sa western. But the rest of the country is expected to have about 40 to 50% din na probability, mostly for above normal rainfall. And for September, still ang ulan natin, although hindi na siya ganun kadami masyado dito sa western section, but still nag-range pa rin siya from 300 to 500 millimeters. And this is our forecast. So in terms of percent of normal, still marami, mostly near normal yung ating in-expect for September. May patches na siya na below normal in some areas. But in terms of probability, still ang marami is halos mix siya. Halos equal probability yung ating September. Ibig sabihin, hindi masyado tayo dito confident sa ating forecast kasi almost equal probability for a near, below, and above normal rainfall for the month of September. But for October, still makikita natin na maraming ulan since this is already the transition period, na nag-shift na yung ating rainfall dito sa eastern section ng bansa. So dito marami na siyang ulan. And this is our forecast for October, which also shows na maraming ulan ang in-expect natin for October in most areas of the country. So nakikita natin dito na halos Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, maraming above normal rainfall. And in terms of probability, there is also a higher probability for above normal rainfall, lalong-lalo na dito sa central and southern Luzon, as well as Visayas and northern Mindanao, Caraga region area. There is a higher probability, almost more than 70% probability for above normal rainfall for October. And then for November, ito na yung ating rainfall. Dito na siya halos drier na dito sa western section kasi ito na yung transition na towards the northeast monsoon din na season. And this is our forecast for November, which also shows na mas maraming in-expect natin na ulan, lalo-lalo na dito sa eastern sections of southern of Luzon na may above normal rainfall tayo in-expect. And in terms of probability, also higher probability, more than almost 50% probability for above normal rainfall in most areas of the country. So these are the table per province ng ating rainfall forecast kanina dun sa mapa. So dito din natin matitingnan. Halos noon kung may El Nino tayo, halos makikita natin yellow and red dito sa mga probinsya na to. Ngayon nagiging green and blue. So mostly dito sa October, halos blue ang ating nakikita or above normal rainfall ang expect natin for the month of October hanggang ano na yan, November, December. Hanggang November pala yun. And in terms of in millimeter, these are the ranges ng ating expected na rainfall for per province ng ating mga forecast na yun in terms of millimeters. So makikita natin, although may mga yellow tayo doon, pag titingnan natin yung ating in terms of volume or the amount of rainfall, dito makikita din natin na halos malalaki na rin yung ating ulan, lalong-lalo na doon sa mga areas Region 3 for example, na exposed siya sa southwest monsoon na napakalaki ng ating ina-expect na ulan during this period. That is for Luzon, Visayas, as well as Mindanao area. So our forecast for our watershed for the selected dams in Luzon as well as other dams in Visayas and also in Mindanao shows that from June to November, mostly near normal ang expect natin except for July nga kasi may forecast natin sa July in Luzon lalo na hanggang Visayas na below. But in terms of millimeter, malaki pa rin yung ating in-expect na rainfall na range from 200 to almost 500 millimeters ang expect natin for the period June to November. Pero dito sa October, marami talagang areas ang in-expect natin na above normal, maraming dams ang in-expect natin to have above normal rainfall condition. And then in terms of probability, sa Angat, only one dam na itong inano natin na watershed. So in terms of probability, we're still expecting below normal, mataas in July. But in October and November for Angat, expected natin na probability of having above normal rainfall dito sa Angat Dam. And these are the forecast naman for rain stations. Yung isa, watershed, this is the rain stations or yung mga point stations natin na nakapaligid dun sa mga dam areas natin. So yung Angat natin dito is ilang stations, 4 ang makikita natin dito. Which also shows almost below siya from June and July. But pagdating ng September, ng August hanggang November, we are expecting mostly near normal rainfall to above normal nga sa October. And for the rainfall forecast, our selected naman na river basins for Luzon and Mindanao. Sa Luzon, mostly below normal tayo ng June and July. Pero pagdating ng August, mostly near normal sa mga river basins natin na minomonitor. Pero dito sa Mindanao, mostly near normal yung ating in-expect from June to August, as well as pag September to November, expected na natin na near sa September and November. But sa October, we are expecting sa Luzon and Mindanao na mga river basin to have above normal rainfall condition. So doon sa forecast natin kanina sa rainfall, still we are expecting below normal rainfall. So in terms of standard precipitation index natin or SPI forecast, this is in per season or quarter. So still makikita natin na yung ating SPI forecast for June, July, August hanggang July, August, September season, may mga areas pa rin na are expected to have from slightly dry to extremely dry areas, lalong-lalo na dito sa Luzon area. So mostly moderately dry. But in Visayas and Mindanao, mostly wala na siya masyadong makikita. Dito sa Mindanao, meron na nga moderate, slightly wet dito. But sa Visayas, meron pa rin mga slightly dry areas. I expected June, July, August hanggang July, August, September. Pero pagdating ng August, September, October, makikita natin na almost near normal. Meron ng moderate nga na slightly wet. And the transition, makikita natin starting September, October, November, hanggang November, December, January, kanina, moderate sa dry, kulay pula, towards the shades of red. Ito naman, towards the shades of blue. Ibig sabihin, towards the wet, na from slightly wet condition to moderately wet condition, ang ini-expect natin for the coming season. And for the number of dry days, so ang dry day dito dinidefine natin as a day na merong ulan na less than 1 millimeter or 0. So kahit may ulan siya, basta less than 1 millimeter, it's still considered a dry day. So dito makikita natin pag kulay shades of brown, ibig sabihin mas maraming number of dry days. So dito from June hanggang July, makikita natin na dito sa Northern Luzon area, maraming pang mga 21 to 25 days pa ang dry days. Yun lang ibig sabihin ng mapa na to. And the rest, pag yung kulay green, ibig sabihin mas kakonti na yung dry days. So since papunta na tayo sa tag-ulan, paunti na rin yung ating number of dry days. So dito makikita natin June, July, August progression hanggang September, hanggang October, since transition na naman ito papunta dito sa eastern sections na ating bansa ang mas maraming ulan. Kaya by November, makikita na naman natin dito sa Western Luzon ang mas maraming araw na halos walang ulan or less number of mas marami pa ng mas maraming dry days. And in terms of normal, kung ilang araw ba sa isang buwan ang per province ang number of dry days, dito natin makikita. And this is the forecast. So pag nakikita natin na shades of red, ibig sabihin na dagdagan yung araw natin na walang ulan o may ulan man less than 1 millimeter. Pag shades of blue, nabawasan. So dito, June, July, hanggang August, September, may mga positive pa tayo na mga indices na nakita. So, ibig sabihin, mas nadagdagan yung ating number of dry days, lalong-lalo na dito sa mga areas in Central Luzon as well as in Calabarzon area, dito sa Luzon, na more than 2 days ang nadagdag doon sa ating number na walang ulan. And for the Visayas to Mindanao area, dito halos hindi ganun kadami. Except for July na maraming nadagdag na araw na walang ulan, but the rest ng months halos shades of blue na bawasan yung ating number of dry days. Temperature forecast for June to November. So dito makikita natin, this is in terms of anomaly. So this is already the average ng ating daytime and nighttime temperature or the mean. So still makikita pa rin natin na may mga areas that are expected to have above average. Pag above average, ibig sabihin, yung anomaly ng temperature natin dyan is 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. So mostly, halos near average siya to above average. But the rest dito, may mga areas tayo na expected na slightly below average yung ating in-expect na mga temperature for each month. So forecast ito for the next 6 months, which also shows generally halos near average to slightly above average yung ating in-expect in most parts of the country. In terms naman sa extreme temperature forecast natin per month, so ito naman, ikinlaster na natin ito yung mga ating mga stations from Northern Luzon down to mountainous Mindanao, wherein we still expect a higher temperature which could have near 40 degrees Celsius pa rin in June and July. Pero pagdating ng August hanggang November, pababa na rin yung ating mga in-expect na daytime temperature. Ito yung Tmax is the daytime temperature. This is only, hindi siya average for the month. This is only a one instantaneous na pwedeng ma-observe sa isang araw. So we expect in Metro Manila still mga 37 degrees Celsius in June and July. Pero pababa na rin siya pagdating ng hanggang November. And then in terms of minimum naman, this is the nighttime temperature. In-expect natin June hanggang September na mas medyo mataas, lalong-lalo na sa mountainous areas of Luzon as well as in mountainous areas of Mindanao. Pero pagdating na ng October, November, dyan, pababa na rin uli kasi papunta na tayo sa amihan season uli. So bagyo, ilang bagyo ba ang in-expect natin for the next 6 months? So by June hanggang July, as a June, we expect 1 or 2. Then July hanggang October, we are expecting 2 or 3 tropical cyclones. And then November, 1 or 2. And then sa December, kung mayroon tayo expected, siguro natin 1 or 2. But for now, June to November, we are expecting 10 to 13 na tropical cyclones. At kung mayroon tayong mga bagyo, pinakita na kanina yung track, usually pag May hanggang June. So in July, August, and September, yung mga almostly, yung tracks natin ay papunta na siya sa Luzon, up to extreme northern Luzon, dito pagdating ng August. And then coming September, yung mga bagyo natin either extreme northern Luzon or pwede niya siya mag-cross dito sa northern Luzon or towards the southern Luzon area. Pagdating ng October, yung mga tracks ng bagyo natin ay medyo dito na siya nagka-cross towards Luzon, southern Luzon, and Visayas area. At pagdating ng November, pababa pa rin dito sa Northern Mindanao, Central as a Central Philippines or Visayas area, as well as some Baguio, meron pa rin na pwedeng doon pa rin siya sa Southern Luzon area. And then until December, yan na-track na mostly dito sa Central Philippines at crossing yung ating mga bagyo during that period. And by the way, ito lang idadagdag lang natin itong ating monitoring ng ating declaration for the onset of the rainy season during the southwest monsoon in areas under climate type 1. So ano ba yung mga areas under climate type 1? So base dito sa ating last pa na climate, itong existing na ating climate map. So dito sa mga areas na kulay-pula, ibig sabihin western sections of the country, kung saan meron tayong tinatawag na pattern ng rainfall natin na pronounced, which is distinctly wet and dry. So dito makikita natin itong kulay-pula, yung distinct yung wet and dry. Kung wala siyang ulan, halos less than 60 millimeters or almost zero. Pero pag meron tayong habagat, almost 500 millimeters. So dito natin tinutukoy yung declaration ng onset of the rainy season. So ito, and this is the criteria that we used. Meron tayong tinatawag na 5-day or pentad, kung saan dapat yung total niyan is 25 millimeters and at least 1 millimeter for 3 consecutive days sa mga stations na may na-monitor. And to satisfy this onset of rains, at least more than half of the stations na monitored, so these are 13 stations, must satisfy this criteria for rainfall. And then also, for Metro Manila, since ang Metro Manila stations natin, as of now, we have only 3, Science Garden, NAIA, and Sangley Point. So at least 2 out of 3 stations must also satisfy this criteria. And along with it, so these are the stations na monitor natin. And along with it, dapat meron siyang criteria for the wind, which is prevailing from, it should have a westerly wind component, which is from 190 degrees Celsius, 190 to 280 degrees over the western Philippines from the surface up to the 850 millibar level as they relate to the development of the synoptic scale rainfall causing weather patterns. And once this criteria is met, we will declare the onset of the rainy season over the areas for monitors over the country, I mean. So sa ngayon, this is as of May 20. So sa ngayon, ito yung mga stations na monitor natin. Although may mga pag-uulan tayo na naranasan during the past several days, still, pag ginamit natin yung criteria natin, walang station na nakamit ng ating criteria in rainfall. Ito, meron siya more than 25, pero hindi siya consecutive days na merong at least 1 millimeter or more. And in terms of the wind din, halos hindi pa ganun ang ating, wala pang masyadong westerly wind component yung ating hangin. From surface, ito yung sa surface, ito naman yung ating 850 millibar, which is measured ng ating mga upper air stations all over the western sections of the country. So with that, siguro yung summary natin for our ENSO alert and warning system. El Nino and the Tropical Pacific is in the decaying stage, but impacts continue. Then transition from El Nino to ENSO neutral is imminent in June. And then the probability of La Nina, which is 69% chance, is in July, August, September season. And siguro hindi ko na siya isa-isahin yung rainfall natin. Pinakita ko naman kanina isa-isa yung mapa. And then for the tropical cyclone forecast, gusto ko lang i-reiterate na 10 to 13 tropical cyclones are expected to enter or develop in the Philippine area of responsibility from June to November. And kung titingnan natin ito, since wala pa tayo kahit isa, kung meron mang isa, still ang ating bagyo, kung meron tayong at least 14 or 15, below average na yung ating bagyo this season. This year pala. Ina-expect. So DOST Pag-asa will continue to closely monitor the decaying El Nino and the developing La Nina, and updates and advisories shall be issued as appropriate. So our next forum will be on the 26th of June, that is the 173rd. Magkaroon tayo ulit ng update ng ating mga forecast na to. So with that, Maraming salamat po. Back to you, Jerem.
Okay, so thank you very much po, Ma'am Rosie, for giving us the climate outlook for the next 6 months. So once again, ulitin ko lang po yung sinabi ni Ma'am Rosie, no, para mas maalala natin yung information. So yun pong ilinyo natin ngayon ay nasa decaying stage na. But its impacts will still continue and nasa ENSO advisory level pa rin po tayo with a La Nina watch. And we are expecting that yung ating transition to ENSO neutral ay this coming June 2024, followed by a transition to La Nina during the July, August, September season. So lahat po ng products na ito, yung lahat po ng present dito sa ating forum ay available po sa official website ng DOST Pag-asa. So bibisitahin nyo lang po yun para ma-access lahat ng products na yan. Okay po, so we are down to the last portion of our event. So let's proceed na po sa ating question and answer portions. I believe marami na po tayong questions na received. And to facilitate, yun pong ating open forum for the event. Let us all welcome Ms. Crystal Ann Valerie M. Villasica, Weather Specialist ng Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section.
Yes, thank you for that, Jerem. And magandang umaga po sa ating mga kasamahan na nanonood dito sa Zoom at sa Facebook Live at sa ating YouTube Live. So right now, ino-open na po natin ang ating floor for your questions and clarifications sa ating mga presentations na pinakita kanina. So if anyone po in the Zoom would like to raise their questions, you can just open your mics or just raise your hand para po makita po natin kung sino ang may mga katanungan. So, so far, wala po akong nakikitang naka-raise ng hand. So maybe I'll just share po yung ating mga nakalap na questions nitong habang during the presentations. Can you see my screen na? Thank you. So, first, we have this latest question po mula dito sa ating Zoom chat box. So, from Nia Maris of Dam and Reservoir Division, with the forecasted rainfall for Magat Watershed, ano po ang assessment ng Pag-asa for the next months? Since ongoing pa rin kasi ang cloud seeding operations ng DABSWM sa kanilang area, pwede na po daw po bang itigil ang CSOPN for the past 1 week ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pag-rise ng Magat Reservoir water level despite na naka-full water allocation na sa irrigation requirements for wet crop 2024 which started last May 7, 2024 and as of 12 midnight ay 2.54 meters above operation rule curve na siya. So maybe someone po from ating HMD, Sir Elmer. Andito pa po ba si Sir Elmer? From the Hydromet Division, Sir Elmer, may I ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Yan. So, sir, first question po here actually is with the forecasted rainfall daw po for Magat Watershed, ano po yung ating assessment for the next few months?
Actually, yung assessment namin is hanggang June, June, last day of June. So, based on dun sa forecast rainfall, dun sa in-assess namin, ang possible na aabutin niya is 173.88. I think kulang pa po yun. So, yun po yung 191.51 pala, I mean. Medyo ang kanya pong normal high is 193. So, medyo kulang-kulang pero maliit na lang po yung kanyang kakulangan. So, I think pwedeng hinto na or pwedeng hindi pa.
Thank you po for that information and answer, Sir Elmer. So,
Yes.
Sir Edwin Viernes of Nia Maris, do you have follow-up questions po para kay Sir Elmer?
Good morning po sa ating lahat. Okay na po. Understood na po yung sagot ni Sir. Yun na po. Thank you.
Okay po. Maraming salamat po, Sir Edwin, and again kay Sir Elmer. Maraming salamat po. And for our next question, we have here from PIA of Mr. Lindon Plantilla via Zoom. Ginagamit pa din po ba ang dry and wet season terms natin? Maybe Miss Anna or Miss Rusi can answer this question po.
Hi, yes, good morning po. Yes po, ginagamit pa rin po natin yung dry, kasama na din yung dry and warm season months and wet season months. So yung sinasabi natin na kapag sinabi ng dry months or dry season, ito po yung period na kung saan napakaliit po ng natatanggap na ulan ng ating buong bansa during warm and dry season months and wet season months. So ito yung nakakatanggap tayo ng maraming ulan, dulot ng habagat and also dulot ng amihan. So, depende po yung nakakaranas ng amihan at habagat, yun yung wet season sa kanila.
So, maraming salamat po for that question, and I hope Sir Lindon ay naliwanagan po tayo dito sa ating different terms na ginagamit sa pag-asa. So if you have further questions po, you can just raise your hand, and nagmo-monitor naman tayo po sa Zoom kung meron tayong mga naka-raise na hands para po ma-interrupt nyo po kami and masagot po natin yung other nyong questions. So we have another question po here from the Facebook Live. From Miguel Elento, ano pong nangyari sa ating climate normals from 1991 to 2020 ng rainfall? Since may mga lugar po na may landslides and flooding, yet way below normal po lang ang naitala sa buong bansa. This is for the month of May so far daw po. Maybe Miss Anna can clarify this question po.
Mas malaki po yung normal rainfall natin during the months of May based from 1991 to 2020 data. So yung nakikita po natin na pagkakaroon ng mga landslides and flooding na naranasan po natin, hindi naman po sa buong sa buong bansa sa ngayon. Dahil malaki na po ang normal during the months of May. So yung ating pong mga pag-uulan, may mga short duration rainfall pero mga intense dahil may mga severe thunderstorm activities that would cause landslides and flooding. So kung titingnan po natin, meron po tayong mga rainfall data dito, mga monitoring. So kung ikukumpara natin ito dun sa normal, ay mababa pa rin po talaga. At sa ngayon, ay since as of May 1 to May 19 ata, yung pinakita nating mapa kanina, so hindi pa po tapos ang buong buwan ng Mayo. So yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. Kaya nakikita natin na way below to below normal pa rin kasi ang reference natin is yung normal rainfall distribution from 30-year data which is 1991 to 2020. Ayun pa.
Maraming salamat po, Miss Anna, for the answer po sa ating question mula sa ating FB Live. And maybe we'll just give a short shout out sa mga nanonood natin sa atin sa Facebook and YouTube. Umabot po tayo ng more than 200 viewers right now sa ating Facebook at YouTube Live. For the next question po this is from Sir Miguel Elento as well. So with the developing La Nina sa third to last quarter ng 2024, ano po ang magiging behavior ng ating southwest monsoon? Miss Anna, can you answer this question po, or Miss Rusi?
Or maybe Dr. Mara, maybe.
Yes, Doc Mar po, may we ask?
So with this developing La Nina po na possible last quarter of 2024, yung usually nandito tayo sa decaying stage ng El Nino. So meaning meron pa po yung remnants and meron po tayong pre-developing La Nina sa third quarter or last quarter. Historically po, ang nangyayari po ay minsan weak ang pagpasok ng ating habagat season or mas kokonti ang ulan natin during itong pagpasok ng habagat. So mostly July, August, September. Kaya doon sa pinapakita nating forecast kanina, makikita natin pagdating ng October, November, December, doon nagkakaroon ng mga above normal rainfall conditions na napipredict natin. So yun po yung possible na kung saan andyan pa rin yung southwest monsoon, merong tinatawag na mga monsoon break, even na magkaroon tayo ng pronouncement ng onset ng rainy season. So yung yung southwest monsoon natin ay Sa first period, yung mga pre-monsoon natin ay medyo hindi masyado ganun karami ang ulan sa nakikita natin. Pero kapag nagkaroon naman po tayo ng mga enhanced southwest monsoon, possible din yon dahil kung ito po ay magiging supported ng mga developing na mga bagyo. So usually yun ang nakaka-enhance. So mga possible pa rin po yun. But for now, nakikita natin na mas magpiprevail yung maraming ulan October, November season, yung towards the last quarter of the year. Maybe.
Yes, thank you po for that, Miss Ana. And I
Yes.
think,
Miss Lori din, may idadagdag si Lori.
yes po. Miss Lori, you can open your mic na po.
Hello po, good morning. Addition lang po, in addition lang din po sa na-mention ni Ma'am Ana na regarding sa question, kasi yung question niya is behavior ng southwest monsoon on top of na-mention po ni Ma'am Ana na above rainfall during the last quarter, most likely due to northeast, during that time po ay northeast monsoon season na rin halos. So baka po most likely due to shear line na rin po yung ilang factor ng magpapaulan sa ilang lugar, especially the eastern section of the country. Yun lang naman po, addition lang po. Thank you po.
Tama. Thank you.
Yes, Doc Mar, you can
Yes, Val, thank you very much. Nadagdag ko lang yung sa third quarter, no, ito yung July, August, September. May studies na tayo dyan na nagsasabi na weaker ang southwest monsoon natin kapag developing ang La Nina. So with weaker na southwest monsoon, inaasahan natin na may reduction din dun sa rainfall natin, particularly sa western section ng bansa. July, August, September po yun tapos yung last quarter naman, October, November, December, above normal naman ito katulad ng nabanggit ni Miss Ana. Yun yung seasonal reversal ng rainfall as response to the ENSO condition. Thank you.
Yes, maraming salamat po Miss Doc Mar and Miss Lori Dean from WD sa inyo pong mga additional na inputs dito sa ating question. So I hope nalinawan po yung ating manonood sa ating Zoom. So meron po ditong I think halos kaugnay na din po na question itong nakaraan. So sabi po, kung babalik sa dating sked ng pasukan ng mga bata, maulan ba ang panahon na iyon? Since nandun na po tayong usapan, maybe you can just answer this po, Miss Ana or
Doc Mar, maybe.
Doc Mar, yes po. I'm sorry.
Okay, yung pagbalik ng school calendar na June ang start, that would be by next year pa, 2025. So this year, I think same pa rin, yung start ng klase. I think it's around July or August. Medyo earlier yata ng konti. But again, as mentioned earlier, July, August, September, weaker ang southwest monsoon natin. Ibig sabihin may reduction po tayo ng ulan as compared to the normal na rainfall niya during July, August, September. Ayan.
Yes, thank you po for that, Miss Sir Doc Mar. So we have another message po here from Miss Iris Yumag. Maybe pwede po mag-open ng microphone si Ma'am Iris. To clarify din po itong inyo pong sinend na image. Yes, so habang inaantay po natin si Miss Iris, we have another question po sa ating Facebook Live. From Mr. Bagaman Delbert, before El Nino comes, do we have cloud seeding plans to minimize its effects? Usually, fire engines during this period are being tasked to do water supply to the communities. Maybe pwede po natin linawin para po, baka po medyo naguguluhan yung ating mga manonood. Yes po, so currently, Yan. So meron po tayo question again. So before El Nino comes, do we have cloud seeding plans to minimize its effects? So usually, fire engines during this period are being tasked to do water supply to communities.
Okay.
Yes, Miss Ana.
Yung cloud seeding operation po is not mandated with PAGASA. Hindi po yan mandate ng PAGASA. So it's the DA through the Bureau of Soils and Water Management and together po with Philippine Air Force. So sila po yung nagko-conduct talaga ng cloud seeding operation. So yun po ang nature. So wala pong involvement si PAGASA ang cloud seeding operation except kung at times meron po silang mga tinatanong or kung nagbibigay kami ng recommendation if needed po kung kinakailangan. Yan.
Yes, thank you po, Ma'am Ana, sa ating pagsagot dito sa ating question. So we have another question here po.
So Ms. Val, if there is somebody from the Bureau of Soils and Water Management or Philippine Air Force, maybe they could further clarify or magdagdag, mag-support dun sa question po.
Yeah, so I think we have participants po here from BSWM, Sir Dember Nidoy, and as well, maybe someone po sa BSWM can unmute and answer po or give additional inputs dito sa statement po natin kanina. Yes, so I think maybe pwede na lang po silang mag-input via chat bilang baka hindi po sila makapag-unmute as of the moment. So mag-proceed na lang po tayo sa ating next question. So we have a question here po again from the Facebook Live. Gaano tatagal ang epekto po ng La Nina? Aabot po ba ito sa dry season of 2025? Miss Ana or Doc Mar? Hello po, Ma'am Ana. I think nakamute pa po kayo.
DOST Pag-asa ay nasa La Nina watch pa lang po tayo. So kapag La Nina watch, still pwedeng matuloy, pwedeng hindi. Kapag nag-La Nina alert ang Pag-asa, yun po yung possibility na medyo mataas na yung confidence natin that in 2 or 3 months time ay possible po na manggagalap itong La Nina. Ngayon, kung sakaling matuloy po itong La Nina, it could be a weak to moderate La Nina, and for now, nakikita po natin at least up to first quarter of 2025. So wala pa po tayo nakikita kung ito ay magpo-prolong or magtutuloy up to dry season ng 2025. So we need to keep on updating and monitoring po itong potential development ng La Nina. Thank you.
Yes, maraming salamat po, Miss Ana. So meron pa po tayong mga natatanggap na questions dito sa ating Zoom. So we have another question from Mr. Luis Rodriguez. So with the two extreme weather from El Nino to possibly La Nina, what could be the emerging new pests, if any, can we expect that can affect the crops like rice? If there is someone from the A or BPI that can comment on this po in the Zoom. I think we have several participants po already from DA. May we ask someone po to answer?
Maybe ask someone, our partners from DA, pasensya na po.
Oh. So we received po here an answer from BSWM. This is regarding the cloud seeding po pala. So for DA, can we have your inputs po? You can chat it on the chat box or just unmute your microphones. Yeah, so far po bilang wala pa po tayo na-receive na answer. Maybe someone na lang po din from
Sa farm natin.
yeah, so yes po, so siguro po idadalhin na lang din po natin tong question na ito sa ating mga kasamahan sa DA, ano, and then bibigyan po natin ng update si Sir Luis Rodriguez, maybe via email na lang po, and then we can exchange emails po regarding this your question. So for the cloud seeding naman po concerns, we have another response po from Ms. Iris Yumag. So if you have other concerns na po regarding cloud seeding, you can email water@bswm.da.gov.ph para po you can direct your message na lang po sa kanila. So again, you can email water@bswm.da.gov.ph. Yeah, so yan. So meron pa po tayong humahabol na question sa ating Zoom. But you can still send your questions po or you can raise your hand. Maybe Sir Lindon Plantilla can you open your microphone so we... Yeah, so baka wala pong... Ayan. Hello po, Sir Lindon.
Good morning po. Ma'am, how would you characterize yung MJJ natin as compared to sa August and onwards ng mga rainfall? Meaning, ang gusto ko lang malaman po kung itong pagulan ngayon starting June, July ay parang ano lang, tama lang, o pagdating sa August, September ba ganun kalala na ba? The worst rainfall na pwede natin ma-achieve during those periods and later on August and onwards.
Paki-post yung forecast. Sa forecast po natin, nakita natin ngayong June, may mga areas pa rin na may below normal rainfall conditions. So, ibig sabihin, kung sakali pong papasok ang ating tag-ulan, panahon ng tag-ulan at pagpasok ng habagat, may mga possible pa rin po ng mga monsoon break. And then, pagdating po ng July, August, makikita natin below to near normal rainfall condition. Ang July po kasi ay ito yung kasagsagan dapat ng habagat. So kagaya po ng nabanggit kanina natin nila Doc Mar, Villaferte, na kung saan meron po tayong tinatawag na seasonal reversal ng ating ENSO rainfall na kapag La Nina, pre-developing La Nina, mas weaker po yung ating monsoon activity or habagat. Pero hindi pa rin po nawawala yung mga possible po natin na mga habagat na mga ulan at kasama na rin po kung meron tong mga kasabay na mga bagyo. So prevalent pa rin po yun. Pero in general, nakikita po natin na yung ating mga pag-uulan ay medyo kung sa in terms of monthly rainfall ay below to near normal pa rin po. And still probability is high. So meaning itong July, August, na usually kasagsagan ng habagat, medyo kokonte ang ating ulan. And the probability is still high. Yan po. And then
Thank you, ma'am.
And then pagpasok ng September, so medyo mas normalize, mas generally normal rainfall condition ang makikita natin. So by that time po, talagang yung full remnants ng impact ng El Nino ay mawawala na po pagdating ng September.
All right, ma'am. Yung po bang nangyayari sa some Latin American countries, are we looking at pwedeng mangyari sa atin?
Alin doon, Sir Lindon? Sa may Southern America po, sa Latin America. Kasi
Yes,
yun
ma'am.
po ay epekto pa rin sa kanila ng El Nino. So kung ang epekto po sa atin ng El Nino ay dry condition or drought, sa kabilang parte naman po ng Eastern Pacific, in which dyan sa Latin America, ang impact po ng El Nino ay marami ang ulan. So ganun po yung nangyayari sa kanila sa ngayon.
Okay. So not necessarily the same conditions will happen in our area.
Apo, wag naman po sana. So there is
Okay.
always possibility na magkaroon tayo ng extreme rainfall and heavy rainfall events kasi nasa tropics po tayo. And katapat natin sila dito sa may eastern side ng Pacific. So kapag nagkakaroon po ng El Nino or La Nina, so kapag La Nina, maraming ulan sa atin, sa kanila naman po possible na kokonti ang ulan sa kanila. So pwede pong mag-reverse yung mga ganong impact during ENSO conditions.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am.
So maraming salamat po Sir Lyndon and Ma'am Ana for that discussion. So we have another question po. Yeah, so so we have question here po from Miss Van, I think, Van June. So matagal po yung drought, di po ba ibig sabihin na mas malakas ang mga ulan na darating? Miss Ana?
Possible po, kaya po may possible na pagkakaroon ng La Nina kasi gaya po na sinasabi natin, nature has its own way to balance itself. So kung galing siya sa drought at maraming kakulangan sa tubig ulan, so maaari namang magkaroon din ng maraming buhos na ulan. Kaya usually po may mga events na after strong El Nino, merong strong La Nina. So nangyari po yun ng dalawang event na ng pangyayari na after strong El Nino ay strong La Nina. So sa ngayon naman po ay hindi natin nakikita na after ng strong El Nino ay magkaroon ng strong La Nina. So for now nakikita pa natin ay could possibly na na mag-develop at could be weak up to moderate La Nina for now. So ibig sabihin po yung nakikita nating last quarter na maraming ulan pagdating ng October, November, December yung possibility. So yun po yung sinasabi nating galing tayo sa matagal na drought, possible din po yung mga ganong malalakas na ulan na darating sa atin. So we could experience both extremes this year if we could experience both three phases of ENSO. So El Nino, ENSO neutral, and La Nina. Kaya very chaotic po talaga yung ating climate systems natin. Kaya kailangan po talaga nating mag-antabay sa DOST Pag-asa sa ngayon.
Yes, maraming salamat po Miss Ana for the question. So I hope Miss Van nasagot po yung ating katanungan at na-clarify po ito sa atin. So we have another question here from 900 AFG call Antonio. So ma'am, during El Nino, most often than not, wala po tayong seedable clouds that we can induce to drop as rain using salt. So I think this is not a question po. So just a comment po dun sa ating cloud seeding na discussion a while ago. Yeah, so we have here another question po. So magandang tanghali po. Dito po sa area ng Nueva Ecija, kailan po ang possible date na magre-release ng tubig ang Pantabangan Dam para pagsisimula ng pagsasaka? Salamat po from Bayani De Leon of Planters Products Incorporated. I think meron po tayo sa VSWM po ata ulit ito. So or sa dams, maybe someone from NIA. Do we have participants po from NIA? Yeah, so I think yeah, so upon checking po sa participants natin, I think wala na po yung kasama natin from NIA. Maybe someone po from the same with the same concern po can answer the question. We'll kindly asking for your inputs po. Yes, Miss Ana.
Val, sorry, this is
Yes
Mar.
po. Yes po,
Baka
Doc
pwedeng
Mar.
i-relay na lang natin later on yung answer, no? After this forum, i-share natin yung question dun sa NIA, and then later on we provide yung answer kay Sir De Leon regarding po sa question niya. Thank you.
Yes po, so thank you po for that, Doc Mar. So as sabi nga po ni Doc Mar, i-relay po natin itong mga questions po natin na hindi nasagot mula po kanina sa DA and dito po sa ating NIA. I-relay na lang po natin to sa ating mga kasamahan from those agencies. So if you have further questions po, you can raise your hand in the meeting, in the Zoom room. Yeah, so meron po tayong naka-raise na hand, Sir Jerinor Espiloy. Please unmute yourself na lang
Hello po,
po.
ma'am.
Yes
Pwede
po,
po
good
ba kami
morning.
humingi, ma'am, ng presentation nun for planning purpose po?
Yes po, so I'll do the honors na po. So later po, after you answer the ating feedback form, bilang nandito na din po tayo, no, isi-share ko na lang din po itong ating feedback form. So everyone po who will answer the feedback form would be given itong ating certificate of participation as well as a copy of our presentations for today. So yung feedback nyo po ay mahalaga sa amin para ma-improve po namin itong aming current products at yung ating ginagawang climate forum. So if you'll kindly scan po itong ating naka-project sa screen, or you can just type po itong ating ating survey form sa inyo pong mga browsers and answer po. This is a very short feedback form. So upon answering this feedback form, makakakuha po tayo agad ng direct link sa ating PowerPoint presentations as well as a certificate of attendance mula po sa amin dito sa Pag-asa. So yun lamang po. So while waiting, so ayan, sinend din po sa ating chat box ni Sir Joey. So you can just access itong ating survey form. If you have other questions, you can raise your hand. And if wala na po, so since wala naman na pong nag-raise na hand, and I think wala na din po tayong additional questions na nakukuha. So maybe we will end the open forum here, and for the other questions po na hindi natin nasagot, again, i-relay na lang po namin, and maybe we'll contact you through email na lang. And lastly, ito po yung ating survey form again. Please kindly answer po yung ating feedback form. Yun lang po, and I'll give back the floor to Sir Jeremiah. Thank you, Jerem.
Okay, so thank you very much po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong mga questions. I hope nasagot po ng ating mga Pag-asa climatologists and specialists ng inyong mga katanungan. And once again, para po magkaroon kayo ng copies ng inyong certificate of attendance as well as yung copies ng presentations ng ating mga resource speakers, pakisagutan lang po yung evaluation form, no? And to give us po the closing remarks and to formally end our program, let us all welcome Ms. Annalisa S. Solis, the Assistant Weather Services Chief of the Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerem. Naririnig niyo po ako. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning pa rin po. So, we have just completed our 172nd Climate Forum. 172nd na yung Climate Forum natin, And we provided you with many information, weather updates, status ng monitor dams, yung ENSO status, as well as our sub-seasonal to seasonal forecast, our 6 months outlook sa rainfall, temperature, dry days, bagyo, and weather systems that will prevail during the forecast period. So almost patapos na po yung first half ng ating year 2024, and we experienced many extreme events due to El Nino. So nandiyan yung record-breaking temperatures, high to very high discomfort level, yung ating heat indices until today, yung dry spells and droughts in some areas, and zero pa ang ating bagyo. And this LPA being monitored by DOST Pag-asa is a candidate for our first TC this year. So it could be named Aghon. So Aghon po yung first na magiging pangalan natin kung sakaling pumasok po or ma-develop itong bagyo na to. And the onset of rainy season maybe is just around the corner. So nararamdaman na po natin yung precursory signs while El Nino is at its decaying stage. But impacts still continue in some other areas of the country. So in fact, as of May 21, based po dun sa NDRRMC situational report on El Nino, so around 323 cities, municipalities were declared under the state of calamity in regions CAR 1, 2, Mimaropa 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and MARM. So isa yung region-wide na state of calamity declaration, 10 yung province-wide, and 85 city municipal-wide declaration. So kasama po niya, kasabay niyan ay yung more than 3.1 billion pesos po yung assistance provided ng gobyerno under the Office of the President, DA, DOLE, DSWD, OCD, LGU, NGOs, and lahat po ng mga tumutulong sa lahat ng mga nag-declare ng state of calamity. And La Nina Watch is still in place and needs to be monitored not only by us, kundi tayong lahat, especially yung our sectors concerned. So, yung critical stage here is transitioning our strategies and interventions from El Nino to rainy season onset, mga bagyong paparating, and eventually to La Nina if it will persist by last quarter of this year. So our commitment is to provide the public and relevant stakeholders with reliable and timely information for informed decision making. So Pag-asa is being guided with scientific rigor and best practices to ensure the accuracy and credibility of our advisories. So when we think of accuracy, it does not mean an exact value po ha, but with allowable range of values and probabilities. So therefore, we need to deal with uncertainties as well. Pag sinabi po namin may La Nina, it doesn't always mean maraming ulan. It just gives you probability ng pagkakaroon ng maraming ulan. So we need to deal with that uncertainties. So our primary goal is to protect and support the welfare of our citizens by delivering relevant and actionable information. So hindi po para maging alarmist kami or mag-cause ng panic, but to be ready, prepared, and take necessary early action. So yun po yung kailangan. Yun po yung binibigay ng Pag-asa. And patuloy pong magmo-monitor ang DOST Pag-asa, especially with this decaying El Nino event. So itong LPA po na potential to be our first tropical cyclone, and then yung ating pagpasok ng tag-ulan, habagat, and the possibility of La Nina this year. So ang dami po natin i-monitor at kailangan po namin maibigay ang lahat ng mga update na ito sa inyo. So with this forum, inaasahan po namin na kasama namin kayong palagi and watch out for our continuous updates, yung mga magbibigay po kami whenever necessary. And maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtangkilik sa ating monthly forum and several meetings po dun sa ating mga identified o mga potential partners po. So with this ongoing El Nino, ang dami pong mga nakipag-meet at nakipag-partner po sa Pag-asa. So nakikita lang po natin dito na talagang napakahalaga at napaka-relevant po na ibinibigay na impormasyon ng Pag-asa. And thank you for the untiring support sa lahat po ng ating mga partners. And also, yung ating ICT of the Engineering and Technical Services Division ng Pag-asa. So, thank you very much po. So, muli, kita-kita po ulit tayo sa ating 173rd Climate Forum. So, tentatively scheduled on June 26. So, yun lang po. Good morning po. Happy lunch. Yung pong ating survey, pakisagot lang po. Napakahalaga po sa amin yan. Maraming salamat po. Back to you, Jeremy.
So thank you very much po. That concludes our event. So let's give ourselves a virtual round of applause. Maraming salamat po sa mga nanood and nag-participate sa ating 172nd Climate Forum. So muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay sa ating monthly Climate Forum. Have a good day po.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you po. Ay, hello po. Yung po palang mga presentations na i-upload dito sa Google Drive ng ating pakatas yung sagutan yung evaluation form. So please wait lang po doon sa presentations ng ating resource speakers.
Thanks po, Doc Mar. Thanks sa ating mga kasama sa PRSD, sa field. Good morning.